going to go ahead and start. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third annual Convocation ceremony. My name is Steve Valdez, and in just a few minutes, I'll be introducing today's MC for this afternoon's event. Part of our formal presentation this morning is to present the U.S. flag and the Texas flag, so let's please rise to our feet for the presentation of the colors for Weslaco High School Junior ROTC under the direction of Sergeant First Class Mario Gonzalez. U.S. Rifle Corporal Joshua Cancino, U.S. Flag Commander Sergeant Major Ricardo Perez, Texas Flag Captain Maria Martinez, Texas Rifle Captain Angel Iturbe. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance by our former keynote speakers from Central Middle School, Alex Papacek, and from Mary Hogue Middle School, Kayla Saldana, and leading us in the signing of the pledge is Haley Kaileha, now in the 6th grade here at Central Middle School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Let's give our junior ROTC from Weslaco High School a round of applause. And of course, for our ladies leading us in the pledge. Congratulations, thank you. You may be seated. Here to offer our invocation for today's event is the District Bilingual ESL Coordinator. Please welcome Elias Trevino.
I'm going to invite you to bow your heads and let's pray in reverence to the Lord. Heavenly Father, we honor and thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here. We just thank you, Lord, that even in this type of event, we can feel your presence. Your word is so true that where there are 2 or 3 gathered in your name, you are there. So I know that you are here. Father, we ask you that you give us the guidance, the wisdom, the understanding, Lord, to be able to receive our students throughout this year and just teach them and instruct them, Lord, and that we never lose focus, that it's all about them, Father. And as your word also declares, Lord, that everything that we do, whether it is in word or in action, we must do it in the name of Jesus, and it's all for your honor and your glory. Continue to bless our superintendent. Give him wisdom, much more wisdom, Lord God, and also our board members. Continue to bless them. I know that they do this all out of the service of their heart, Father. Just bless them. We ask you all this in the precious and mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Every morning, some of us wake up to the sound of roosters. Some of us wake up to the sound of our children about to get ready for school, maybe the barking dog next door. But a lot of us wake up to the sound of a weather report. Most of us, or at least half of us here, are ready for this moment. She also invites us to bring our umbrellas or to wear sunscreen, or for the 2 days that we have winter, we can wear our jackets. Today's MC is certainly a familiar face and voice that we wake up to every morning. She's from the town of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She earned her degree in meteorology at the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. Our MC has been reporting the weather for 5 years, and now with KRGV in the last 3 years of her career. But of course, as all we of the Valley see, a lot of our people come and go, so she also aspires to work at Network one day. Please welcome and give a warm Weslaco ISD welcome to the First Warrant 5 Weather Center, Channel 5's morning meteorologist, Lisa Villegas. Curtains, Joe, curtains.
trip there, right? Thank you so much, Steve. Isn't he the best? He's great. Well, I heard they have you divided in 2 groups, and I don't know about you, but the first group, they were pretty loud, and then they had a lot of enthusiasm. What about this group? All right. So I'm assuming this is the Weslaco Panthers group just by that cheer. Let's make some noise! I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of fun today. So this, all right, go Panthers! So this is actually going to be my 5th year forecasting the weather. And while lots of you, you're trained to look for signs with the school, with the children, how to read them, how to teach them. I look for signs and weather patterns, of course, with climate change and all types of weather phenomena in the atmosphere. Now, from the sounds of your excitement, I'll tell you this. I'm going to give you a little forecast for your school year, okay? Now, I haven't really been asked to do this for the school year, but I'm going to give it my best go. So, I'm going to tell you first, wear your sunglasses, because your future looks bright. But don't forget your umbrella, because there is a brainstorm headed your way. High pressure systems may be forming in the atmosphere, but that's nothing compared to the high pressure stakes in educating the youth of this community. In a lot of ways, yes, in a lot of ways our jobs are alike. I look at how solar energy influences our weather. You incorporate kinetic energy and movement in your 21st century lessons. I study the effects of when warm Gulf waters meet with cold, chilly air masses from up north. And then when they collaborate, now you use collaborative methods to engage students and engage in group participation. Most of your teachers are great with public speaking and have daily audiences between 25 and 100 students a day. You can see their faces and their expressions that they give back, and you can engage with them. I pretty much look at a camera all day, and I don't get any facial expressions, and I can only imagine what you're thinking and what your facial expressions are as you look at me in the living room. So don't stop thinking about tomorrow. That is this year's theme for your 3rd annual convocation, and just like I make my living off of forecasting tomorrow's weather, each of you have the daunting task of preparing your students for a tomorrow that is impossible to forecast. And so today I am honored once again to be a part of this inspiring day and welcome each of you here today. Thank you. All right, well, before we get started and before we begin our quest on stage, we'd first like to introduce each of the campuses here with us today. And of course, I'll introduce the principals and the teachers of the year. I can see that most of you are wearing your school colors and your uniforms, right? Okay, well, I also want to see who has the best school spirit. You think you guys can do this? So when I call out the school, I want you all to stand up if you're in that school, yell as loud as you can, and by the end, I'm going to tell you who wins. All right? So first, I'm going to start off with drum roll. Anybody? From Justice Raul Gonzalez Elementary School. Let's give it up for them. I'm also going to introduce the principal, Daniel Budimir, and teacher of the year, Laura Hernandez.
When I walk on by, girls be looking like they be fly. I put to the beat, walking down the street and my new freak, yeah. This is how I roll, animal print pants out control. It's Red Bull with the big ass bra, and like Bruce Lee, I got the clout, yeah. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body.
Now let's give it up for Memorial Elementary School.
Not working hard. Yeah, right. Picture that with a Kodak.
Principal Rudy Martinez and teacher Shirley Pineda.
From negative to positive, I just want y'all to know that. And tonight, let's enjoy life. Pitbull, Naia, Neo, that's right.
Give me everything tonight.
Xavier Salinas, and their campus teacher of the year, Sandra Arce, at Rudy Silva Elementary.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night.
Now let's put our hands together for Sam Houston Elementary School. Here we have Principal Linda Wallace and Teacher of the Year, Marvel Rodriguez.
Come on, baby, and drop it. Scrub the floor and just mop it. Show these gangsters how you pop lock it. Don't care what you got in your pocket. I beat the way that you rockin'. With that bang, bang, girl, stop it. Wanna just bang, bang, and pop it. While the club crowd are just watching. Work it out. Got a gang of cash and it's going all on the ball. Now work it out. And it's going fast cause I feel like a superstar. Now work it out. And you may not have it, then might have just broke the law.
All right, next we have Letra Held Elementary School. Principal Monica Vanderveer and Teacher of the Year, Melissa Cavosos. Now, let's give it up for Central Middle School. We've got Principal Pat Munoz and Elise Pacheco, Teacher of the Year. I love all these noisemakers and sounds you guys have. Well, next up we have Beatrice G. Garza Middle School.
I came to dance, dance,
Their
dance,
Principal
dance.
John
I hit the
Garland
floor
and their
'cause
Teacher of
that's
the
my
Year,
place,
Maria
place,
Carmona.
place, place. I'm wearing all my favorite brands, 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 brands. Give me some space for both my hands, 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 hands. You, 'cause it goes on and on and on. And it goes on and on and on. Yeah. I throw my hands up in the air sometimes, saying, ayo, gotta let go. I wanna celebrate and live my life, saying, ayo, baby.
Now we have Horton AEP School. recognize for the first time publicly your newest addition to Weslaco ISD. Let's give it up for the 21st Career in Technology Early College High School. We have the Executive Director for Secondary C&I, Sergio Garcia. This afternoon than this morning. I'm just going to say it. You know, the best part about the Convocation, first of all, real quick, my mom didn't even know what that was. And just to give you a little rap about me, my mom is a 6th grade teacher. And I was telling her, yeah, I'm going to do this Convocation. It's going to be so much fun. I have a script. They've got this whole presentation they're doing. And my mom's like, what is that? And I'm like, Mom, you're a teacher. She's like, well, first of all, I'm going to watch this online. And then I'm going to tell my principal, because I want something like this. I have to tell you, this has been incredible so far. So this has been awesome. And even if you're not a teacher on campus, you still have an important role in educating students in Weslaco. And so today we are also recognizing the staff of the supporting departments and contribute to what they do as leaders. So I'd also like these people to be recognized and stand up when I call their department. Our risk management department. Staff in charge of public information. Our assistant superintendent and administration staff, including the intake center. And how about our athletic director's office? Staff development, student support services, state cop office, and keeping us under budget and out of debt, of course. Let's give it up for our business office. And how about our technology department and our human resource department? And this has to be my favorite department, working behind the camera and behind the scenes. A big shout out to KWES TV. Let's welcome our special education department, the staff at Warehouse, the district's parental involvement department, the migrant department, our hardworking crews at our maintenance department, and finally, our energy maintenance department. I'm going to take a personal liberty to recognize a couple individuals in the maintenance department that I hope are here today. If you are, please stand and be recognized. On your way in, I'm sure you all looked up at the amazing and beautiful mural that is now on display. If you didn't check it out, you will definitely have to do so once you leave in the front lobby of the Performing Arts Center here. The artwork was created and designed by Darlene Garcia, the graphic artist at KWES, and they tell me she's sitting in the back running audio for today's live broadcast, but I want everyone to give her a round of applause. But the person who made the graphics beautiful and come to life and did the painstaking job of painting the art on that mural, I don't know if you saw it, but whew, took all summer long, on the massive wall there, is also here this afternoon, and I want everyone to know who he is. Can we get the house lights on? Of course they are. No, okay, never mind, sorry. It's all scripted, okay? But Danny Serrano, are you here? Danny! With our maintenance department, thank you so much. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There are two more people I'd like to mention here. The amazing set behind us that represents the rising sun and our students wake up to every new morning was also built by the amazing craftsmen in our maintenance department. If Geronimo Silva is here. Thank you. And Jose Armenta. Thank you. It's beautiful, right? You can see the skyline, too, of the city. That's what that's supposed to be. It's incredible. And the person that had to climb the tall ladder to paint the set, I'd like him to also stand. Noel Leal and Pete Carmona. Are you both here? Thanks. This type of work is not easy, so once again, join me in honoring them with a big round of applause. Now, during the summer when the districts found out that the application for an early college high school was approved, the race was on to get Luis Black campus ready for the first day of school within 3 months, just 3 months away. And the guys who made that happen are all here today and worthy of a huge round of applause. If you are a carpenter, a plumber, an electrician, or a painter, and you were here getting the school ready, please stand and be recognized. You all deserve an awesome round of applause. Thank you so much for being here. We're gonna have so much fun. Let's give it up. Come on, let's go, Panthers. All right, well, we still have one more flag left, and it needs to be raised, and there's only one person who can do this. He is your chief of staff. He is your CEO. He is our fearless leader, the man representing WISD ISD and the final flag bearer. Let's give a big WISD ISD welcome and hello to our superintendent, Dr. Ruben Alejandro. Of the kind of devotion one man can give to a school district, but this man doesn't have to look very far because he is following in the footsteps of his own father. Please welcome to the stage, with over 20 years of experience as a school board trustee, let's welcome our first guest speaker, your school board president, Dr. Robert Sepulveda.
Wow. Observations. As a physician, that's what I do. I observe. You got to say something. Coach Villarreal sitting somewhere right around here. You got nothing to worry about with a cheerleading squad like this class right here. It's amazing, the energy you guys generate. You feel it up here when you guys do. And the whole group as a whole. There's 1,200 people in this room. And it's pretty amazing the noise you guys make and the energy you have. You reflect on what you believe and what you're trying to do. You know, before I go, my role here is to welcome you, of course, but as board president, I also need to give you some news. But before I do that, I need to introduce the team. I'm going to start first with Adrian Gonzalez. Board member, Oscar Caballero, and David Fuentes. And of course, Dr. Alejandro is part of the team, so we have to include him too. One of the things that board members do is they set philosophies and they set goals. The philosophy that we adopted many years ago, this was a long time ago when I was still young when I first got on the board, and the philosophies are very simple, lo barato sale caro. And we follow that in this district. You know, when I traveled the state of Texas, when I was president of the Texas Association of School Boards, I went to many schools throughout the state of Texas. And guys, they don't hold it close to you at all. You guys have a truly amazing, you know, programs, et cetera, facilities, and really the most foremost and most important thing is your pay. One of the things that we set as a goal this year, and we set it really several years we've been trying to do it, and that is pay raises. My role to tell you today is teachers, you're getting a $1,600 pay raise this year. That's good. And support staff, we're going at 5%, and we're going to stick to that. And for the administrators, we're going at 3% from the midpoint. So that'll be adopted tonight. So that's the business end of it. You know, one of the things that I do when I come in, and luckily today I was lucky enough to get here early and greet some of you guys coming through the door. I realized a lot of things. Gosh, some of the teachers are starting to look like young kids, and it's amazing, or I'm getting very old. But it's amazing, but you see the energy. You know, I also ran into George Peña. He's sitting over there somewhere, the guy with the white head. You know, George was my neighbor. We grew up together, and we went to Stephen F. Austin together when Stephen F. Austin was first integrated. And it was kind of an experience that we grew up with. But we grew up, and when we were children, and I'm going to put in perspective how times have changed. When we were children, you know, of course, we played baseball, and we believed in all that stuff. And yeah, we did pay attention to girls every now and then, but not much. But we had a neighbor who became pretty famous in her own right. She was a teacher. Her name is Norma Linda Silva. And a pretty girl, head cheerleader in Westaco High and all those good things. And she went on to become a teacher in the Austin Independent School District. She became president of the Texas State Teacher Association. The year that I was president of the State School Board Associations was kind of weird, but as neighbors. But Norma was one of those girls that when you're young gets on your nerves. And I'll never forget, she was climbing a tree one day, and the guys were all in the back, and the tree branch broke, and she fell out of the tree, and palo. And she was out cold. And you know what we did? We did a circle and started singing, ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch is dead. You know, but that's what kids are. But you know, when I walked in this morning, I met a nice young girl. She was here a few minutes ago, but she went to the back. Alex. She walked back, and I started talking to Alex. And I said, oh my God, when I was this young, she's already talking about going to engineering school at Texas A&M. And I gave her a hard time about going to Texas A&M because I'm a UT graduate. But you know, but she has a vision. And to me, I find that so amazing. And you know, she's telling me about who's helping her get there, and that's you. And it's interesting because as you evolve as a child to an adult, you know, your perspective changes. I remember, I can sit here, I see Noe Rico sitting right there. His dad was a vital part of my educational success, as I say. I'm a doctor, and your dad is partially responsible for that. I mean, he was a great man, and he really helped me a lot, and I will never forget that. So you remember this as you get older and go on. As a child, you know, you see things differently. And I got to tell you a little story before I finish. I went to hear a really great educator. His name is Ken Robinson. His real name is Sir Ken Robinson, knighted by the Queen of England. And if you ever get to hear this guy, or if you don't, at least go to a podcast and listen to his talks. They're phenomenal if you're an educator. And especially when he talks about high-stakes testing. But the interesting story he told me was when he came to the U.S., he's English, and he wanted his kids to assimilate to Los Angeles schools. And his youngest child was all excited because it was Christmas time and they were going to do this play. And so he went all excited, and he says, well, here comes my child. He's going to be in. His child was one of the three wise men. And as they had the play, the first child walked out with a towel tied around his head. And he says, I bring you this gift of gold. And everybody clapped, and he walked off the stage. And the second child walked up, and he says, I bring you this gift of myrrh. And beautiful. And everybody clapped and walked out the stage. Well, here comes the little British kid, walks out, and he said, Frank sent this. I'll see you later. So I go, that's kids in education. You know that? And I love that story because it tells us what we deal with. And one of the things that I find now, because of medical school coming to the Valley and everything, and you guys are prepping these children to go in that area, I'm going to tell you one thing. We need to learn what children need to get there. I'll give you an example. One of my friends, his child is a phenomenal student, scored very high on his MCAT. He did not get in last year. So we asked, why did he not get in? So we did the research. And the research is very simple. Children today, if they're going to med school, are not only expected to score well in their MCAT, they're not only expected to do well academically, they're also expected to do research and to do community involvement in the medical field. So as we evolve in teaching children, we're going to have to teach that to get them there, because I want to see, in the state of Texas, I gave a lecture, and Dr. Alejandro helped me with this lecture a few months ago. Children in the state of Texas in med school, our acceptance rate for Hispanics is anywhere from 4%, the highest is 6% at Southwestern in Dallas. And Hispanic means Argentino, Colombiano, not only, the Mexican-American children. So I ask you to do that. And before I leave, I'm going to tell you a cute story. The other day, a former school board member that I met many years ago called me. He's one of those guys at the Border Patrol in El Paso. And he called me in the middle of the night. I go, Robert, what do you want? And he says, I just called you to tell you how you're, checking, because he had heard my mom had passed away, and give his condolences. And we visited. But it's so cool because he told me the story that they had been watching this coyote that they were after, and they finally caught him. And Robert said, well, I need to ask you, you're a big-time coyote. We could never catch you, but we want to know why you only brought 2 illegal aliens at a time across the river. And he says, because the sign says no trespass. With that, I'll leave you.
Thank you, Dr. Sepulveda. Devoting over 2 decades of service for the students in the community. I think that deserves another round of applause. Next, I'm going to introduce our next guest speaker. She's the poster child for the 21st century learning. She is truly an example of the way today's students learn. We got to know her as early as 6th grade, and she's about to complete her middle school year. Please help me welcome from Mary Hogue Middle School, Kayla Saldana.
Today, more than ever, he realizes that even though change is never easy, he must continue to move this 21st century school district forward, to continually meet the challenges of its learners. He never loses sight of the fact that the focus is to educate all of WISD's 18,000 students to become problem solvers in a constantly evolving and interconnected universe. The vision was developed, the priorities were designated, and an action plan was set in place. However, the huge challenge for WISD remains in today's shift from teacher-dominant classrooms to classrooms where teachers empower learners to become more and more independent innovators through 21st century strategies. Because of this, it is crucial that today's digital natives, our students, take ownership for their own learning, and that teachers facilitate that process. Since today's learners are already utilizing 21st century tools and devices in their daily lives, our leader continues to capitalize on this existing expertise to enable students to learn efficiently and effectively in an ever-evolving technological age. He realizes that the members of today's kindergarten class will be retiring in the year 2070. As he has said many times over, none of us have an idea of what the world will look like in 5 years, much less in 62 years. Yet, we're all charged today with preparing these kindergartners and all the classes before them for life in that world or universe. Therefore, of major concern to him is the fact that students need to function in a rapidly changing environment that will require them to change jobs many times in their careers, to interact with workers from all over the universe. From day one, our 21st century superintendent showed and still today continues to show his acceptance of the challenges essential in this change by supporting technological advances in student learning, improving district operations, and communicating with constituents. As an effective leader at the helm of WISD, he addresses these issues by forming partnerships. He believes that whether you are an employee, student, parent, business owner, community leader, or a resident, you play a vital part in the success of every student in his learning journey through WISD. All of the jobs, duties, and responsibilities coupled with an already overcrowded agenda had added heavily to the position. However, the challenge and excitement of the transition to making WISD an even stronger school system, which effectively meets the challenges of its 18,000 21st century learners, is certainly a satisfying reward to our superintendent, Dr. Ruben Alejandro.
Okay, welcome to the 2025 school year. I noticed you had a little bit of trouble applauding because you were caught off guard. 2025, it's 2014, 2015. Is he getting old? You know, he and Dr. Sepulveda went to school around the same time. And so what is happening to him? Well, we don't know. The reason I wanted to mention 2025 is because it's a very important year. Very important for our students. Yes, it's 2014-2015 school year, and we're here ready to get started, but we want to keep our eyes on the future. The future is extremely important for us. You notice that our logo changed a little bit. It's still the same one, the whole child, the whole world, the whole universe. But what we've added is we've added 2 kids on there. These kids were first graders last year. Why first graders? We didn't choose them, okay? What we did is we had a contest, and we asked them to go ahead, and all the first grade students, we asked them to participate in a contest and come up with a poster of what the world would look like in the year 2025. And we wanted it to be a collaborative effort between the parents and the students. So this was a collaborative project between the two. Very important. Parents need to be an integral part of a student's education. That's why we wanted them to get this, work on this project together, on this contest. The other thing is, we want to make sure that everybody thinks futuristic. Why is that so important? Why is it important that they think futuristic? By the time our kids go out into the real world, that world is going to look totally different. It's going to be a totally different world. Dr. Sepulveda mentioned about when he was young. Well, I'm going to tell you about when I was young, but I'm not going to tell you what year. I just want to make sure that you know that we had cars when I was going to school, okay? We did not go to school walking. We did not have to go on horseback. We actually had cars. So that throws it all the way back to the 1900s, okay? So somewhere between then and now, that's when I went to school. Okay. The algebra that I took in 9th grade, when I go do campus visits, I see those same objectives and those same requirements being taught in the 3rd grade. Think about that. Think about that. Our kids in 3rd grade are having to learn objectives that I learned in algebra in the 9th grade. The highest math that I took, trig and elementary analysis. That's the highest level of math that they offered. Now look at our kids in high school. Pre-cal, cal, linear algebra, statistics. I took statistics as a graduate. They're teaching it in high school. That's what we're requiring our students to be able to learn. The demands on our students are much greater than the demands that we had when we were going to school. That's why it makes sense for us to make sure that we give them all the resources by having them use digital devices that are going to help them to become self-learners, and that way they will be able to learn as much of the content as possible. At this time, you're probably thinking, he keeps talking, but he hasn't mentioned 2025. What's so important about 2025? I do a lot of environmental scanning. Environmental scanning, you take a look at what the trends are out there, media, just things in general, and you analyze things. So I do a lot of environmental scanning. When they first talked about SpaceX wanting to develop a launch pad somewhere, I started taking a look at that and following it. There were 5 potential sites. Brownsville was one of them. When I started taking a look at it, I started telling people, Brownsville is a front runner and will more than likely be the location of the next private launch pad. And I started telling people, well, guess what? 2 weeks ago, it was announced. Brownsville is the one that got selected. Brownsville is the one that's going to build that launch pad, where we're going to be able to send, we, meaning the Valley, we are going to be able to send at least 12 rockets up into space, okay, annually. Annually. She still hasn't mentioned 2025. You know, why is it going to take so long? Well, let me tell you what's important about 2025. That's when they're going to send the first colony to Mars. Think about that. Think about that. The first colony to Mars. Who's going to go? Let me see your hands. Anybody here? I'm not going. They already told us it's a one-way trip. You're going there, but you're not coming back. Okay? I kind of like Westlaco, so I'm staying here. And I often ask people, why not go next week? Why don't we send it next week? Why don't we send it next year? They already approved it. Let's build it and let's send the rocket out there and send people up there. Why not? Does anybody know? Why don't we send it right now, next year? We don't have the technology. We do not have the technology to send a colony to Mars and make sure that it's successful and that those people survive. We don't want to send them out there and they don't survive and we can't get them back. No, we want to send them out there. We want to make sure that they survive because you know what? That's just the first step. They've already identified a planet in another solar system that's just like Earth. So we're going to go places. We're going to go places. This is just the first step. Just the first step. And what is it that we're going to need in order to build those technologies that are going to make that trip successful? Your kids in your classes are the ones that are going to build those technologies. Those kids, they're just representative of the rest of our 18,000 students. Those kids are the ones that are going to build those technologies. Those kids are the ones that are going to build those technologies that will help us put people on Mars, put people into outer space, the whole child, the whole world, the whole universe. Our kids, the universe is going to be their playground. That's what they're looking at. But let me tell you something here today. In this audience, right now, are the most powerful people in the whole wide world. Turn right, turn left, and take a look at the most powerful person in the whole wide world, sitting right next to you. What makes you so powerful? Tell me, what makes you so powerful? Why is a person sitting next to you, why is that person so powerful? Because you know why? I'll tell you why. Because you are the ones that are going to prepare the kids that are going to make the world possible, a futuristic world possible. I know, you're looking out there and he's getting closer to the edge. He's getting closer to the edge. Is he gonna fall? And if he does, who's going to pick him up? I bet you're all saying, not me. I'm just going to wait and see. I said that to one group, and it was a gym full of, an auditorium full of students, and I said that, and about 5 kids said, I'll help you. Well, at least I had 5 kids that wanted to help me. You are the most powerful people in the world because you will be the ones that create the future. You will prepare those 18,000 kids so that they can go out into the world, build the technologies that are going to be needed to be able to go to places like Mars, be able to go to places like the other worlds, okay? And this is just the first stepping stone, the very first stepping stone, okay? Think about it. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. Of course it's possible. Let me just give you, sometimes in order to be able to see the future and be able to get a perspective of what the future is going to look like, you have to go backwards. You have to take a look at the past. Let me give you just one real brief example. Everybody knows about the pyramids. Everybody knows about it, right? How did they build those things? They didn't have giant cranes to carry those massive rocks up those real tall structures that they call the pyramids. They didn't have any cranes. They didn't have any equipment. Yet, somebody was able to figure it out. And you know what? Kudos to that person's teacher. Because that person's teacher, mentor, was able to guide him so that he could come up with those ideas. Like you. Every single one of you, guiding, shaping our future by creating the students that are going to help us to be successful. And the reason that we always have this convocation, incidentally, you don't know this, okay? But they know me, okay? So what they did, and this is Steve's fault, he put a clock here, okay? And it's got a timer, and it says I got 4 minutes and 40 seconds left, okay? And I don't know, I got to talk to my staff about that. Each one of you is extremely important. If you remember Kayla on the first convocation, my bus driver, Philip. If you remember DP, okay, the counselor. She came in as a 5th grader, no English, graduated as a valedictorian. Perla. Perla was a gang member. She was ready to go ahead and go kill the individual that had killed her brother, okay, when somebody touched her life and turned her around. Now Perla is in Michigan State, earning A's and B's, She is being on the circuit doing lectures on immigration. Immigration? I think they kind of go together, right? So she's on the circuit doing lectures on immigration, and she is being recruited to be on Hillary Clinton's campaign if and when Hillary Clinton decides to run for president. They mentioned one particular person, but you know what? Each one of them had teachers. And each one of those teachers made an impact on that student. When I was principal, I used to tell my staff, teachers have to work on faith. They have to work on faith that what they do impacts student learning. Another age question here, okay? I've been in the field for over 30 years. I'm not going to tell you how many, okay? We got some math teachers out there, and they're immediately ready to go ahead and calculate. How old? No. Can we borrow a cane? He might need it. He's been walking up and down for a while. Maybe a walker. Maybe a wheelchair. Okay, so no. Okay, don't bring any of those things up here. But the kind of students that we're looking to get is the kind of students that are going to be thinking out of the box. There's just the kind of students that are going to be thinking out of the box, okay? And you know what? You have the power to create that student. What you do is going to help that student to be able to think creatively, critically, and be able to problem solve so that they can go ahead and come up with the things that are needed to be able to be successful in life. Somebody touched Perla's life. Somebody touched DP's life. Somebody touched each and every one of your lives. And what I used to tell my staff when I was principal, and you know the other thing is, when you get down to 2 minutes, this clock, you can't see it, but I can see it. This clock starts flashing, okay? You got 1 minute and 16 seconds, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. I'm not even going to look at it anymore. What I used to tell my staff is this. You work on faith. Educators work on faith. The faith that what you do each and every day impacts student learning and prepares our future, creates our future, okay? You might teach 5, 10, 15, 20 years and never know whether what you've done is really significant or if you impact student lives. You might never know. But you know what? In my time as an educator, I've had at least 10 to 15 students that have come back and said, you know what? When you used to tell us this in class, that made a difference in my life. And now I'm successful. Or, some of them might come back and say, you know what, I graduated and I never paid attention in your class, but when I was having problems, I started thinking about what you used to tell us, and I've changed my life, and I'm a better person for it. But I guarantee you one thing, that even though you might have 10, 15 students come back and tell you this, they all wish that they could come back and tell you. They all wish that they could come back and tell you, but a lot of them won't. So we have to work on faith. We work on the faith that what we do will impact student learning. What we do will help make us successful because you know what? We are going to help make them successful, and they in turn are going to give us a better world to live in, which is going to help make us successful. Now, let me tell you about something. Yeah, I know. I'm not looking at it, okay? Yeah. Joe, is Joe back there? Joe, give me another 10 minutes. It says time remaining, but they took off the córtale. The clock is bilingual, okay? The clock is bilingual. So it says, córtale, and then the time is in English, okay? On this trip to Mars, let me tell you one thing. Is this only about science and math? No. This trip to Mars, we need every single content area, every single subject. We need well-rounded students. Because you know what? When you get up to Mars and they have this colony and you get sick, you can't go to the corner to Walgreens and buy medicine. You can't go to CVS and buy medicine, okay? So how are these individuals going to be able to take care of themselves? How many of you grew up in the valley? Let me see. And I'm not that I'm trying to find out how old you are, but how many of you, okay, are over 40? I'm over 40, but that's as far as I'm gonna go, okay? Okay, you don't have to answer this next one. You don't have to answer this next one, but how many of you ever went to a curandero? Growing up, we were so poor that I went to a curandero, and you know what? When you went out there, what did they do? But you know what? Haz un té de manzanilla and drink it. Or get la hierba Maria and, boil it and whatever, okay? But you know what? As funny as that is, that's not far-fetched. Because you know what? In Mars, that's probably the way they're going to take care of themselves. And you know what? You need scientists, you need biologists that are going to be able to tell you, hey, you know what? This is what we need, environmentalists. This is what we need to grow the plants that are going to be used as medicinal plants, because you can't go to CVS and you can't go to Walgreens to go get your medicine. We are going to have a colony that's going to need to survive, and they're going to have a lot of resources. So who is the most important person in the whole wide world? You are. Who is the most important person in the whole wide world? I want to hear it. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for helping make our students successful. And thank you for believing in them. Oh, they did give me another 10 minutes. Let me continue, right? Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause for Dr. A. They really did put an extra 10 minutes on the clock. It was actually kind of funny, I thought. Now, I wanted to take a selfie, but I'm going to use I need someone's phone real quick. Now, the reason I'm going to take a selfie is I don't know if you follow me on my Facebook fan page, but I'm always posting selfies, and I really want one with everyone in the background. But if you think I'm bad with selfies, you should talk to Tim Smith. You think I'm bad? This is how I take one. I take one normally just like this, right? Well, did you know they have an invention for it's like literally a selfie stick? I'm not even joking. It must be this big. It's like really long. We were actually all talking about it earlier. He has one of those, and he would have really been out here right now and gotten the selfie stick and been like, everyone smile. But I'm gonna do this old-fashioned way. So I need everyone to make noise again. I want everyone waving the flags, and I want everyone with their posters. Even though you're not gonna be in it, I want you to participate. Thanks. I need that sent to me. Okay, for the next part, this is going to be a little different. This is going to be a lot of fun. Now, for this, it's going to be fun and exciting, and it will involve participation from the audience. And I want all of you participating. Some of your colleagues might be up here. So this is what's going to happen. It's going to be a game show. So there's going to be beach balls that are going to fly from the ceiling. There's going to be about 6 of them. We're going to listen to some music, we're going to bounce the beach balls, but as soon as the music ends, whoever is holding the beach ball, and I'm going to be watching, whoever's holding the beach ball, you have to come up here and participate in the game show. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun, and there are some awesome prizes you can win. So there's a little twist to it, all right? Well, first, to actually host this event, I want to bring out Rico Martinez. Get out here.
Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Hi guys, my name is Rico Martinez, if you already didn't know. I just passed on to the 9th grade at Westlaco High School. Woo! Panthers! Yeah. Where the folks? Right here, what's up? And I'm a host to this new segment to this year's convocation called Tech Trivia. Now, here are the rules. We'll form 3 teams of 2 individuals. That means we'll need 6 volunteer game show participants to come up on stage. You'll be asked either a tech trivia question or you'll be asked to solve or interpret one of the thousands of today's texting acronyms. Here's an example of how it will work. I will read the letters of an acronym, and the first person to tell me I will read the letters of an acronym, and the first person to hit their light switch on the podiums will have the first chance to tell the audience what the acronym means. For example, I will read what the letters LOO mean. Yeah, woo! And of course, everybody knows the answer is laugh out loud. Now, today's acronyms are really just yesterday's shorthand. And so we haven't gone that far away from the note-taking skills that most of you teachers used in high school and college. Hopefully. So now we're ready to make the team selections for Tech Trivia. Now remember, when the music stops and you're holding one of 6 beach balls, you get to be a contestant on Tech Trivia. Alrighty, well, congratulations, you're our first set of contestants for the first round of Tech Trivia. Mr. Trevino, what are the prizes we're going to have for this round?
The team with the highest points at the end of the round will win either an in-studio photo session worth $150 from Nava Studios or a date night with movie tickets. Not with Mr. Nava. With movie tickets and a dinner for 2 gift cards from our friends at State Farm and Julian Garza, also here from Westlaco. Back to you, Rico.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Round of applause for our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's take a moment to meet our contestants. Tell us your names and which campuses or departments you represent.
I'm Rebecca Reina, and it's my first year teaching at Ford and DAP.
Woo, yeah!
Veronica Flores, CIF at Memorial.
Kara and Crystal, 4th grade clap.
My name is Shailene Leaños. I'm in Central Middle School and I teach.
Vicky Pavacek, I'm a marketing teacher at Westlaco High School.
Yeah! Alrighty, contestants, we're gonna divide the segment into 5 questions. 3 will be acronyms and 2 will be tech trivia. So the team to press their buzzer first and the light to come on will have the first chance. The light switch right there. Yeah, you just turn it on, yeah. Alrighty.
Hey, that's old school.
That's some old school, yeah, what's up? Alrighty. If you get the answer right, give yourselves 10 points from the flip down binders on your podiums. If you don't get it right, the next team to buzz in will have the chance, and so on and so forth. So, who's ready to hear the first acronym? No? Really? Oh, okay.
First acronym.
Alrighty. The first acronym is ILMJ. ILMJ. Team Red.
I love my job.
That is correct. 10 points to Team Red. I love my job. Yes, the answer is I love my job. And I'm sure all of you love your jobs just as much as I love school. Now, just a little heads up. You guys will only have 5 seconds, but you can get help from our studio audience. Whoever hears it and says it before buzzing, they get the points. It's not cheating. All right. The next is a trivia question, and I'm looking for the technical meaning of the term. Who can tell me what huge pipes means?
Did you
Team
say
Red.
huge pipes?
Yes, I did, and I don't know why some of you are laughing. I'm only 14. Team Red?
Hi.
5 seconds. I see someone raising their hand.
Hey, ours is on.
Oh, high bandwidth.
Team Red has the 10 points. That is exactly what it means. Yes.
Our lights are on first.
Okay. Yeah, that's slang for having a high bandwidth internet connection. Now, the larger the bandwidth, the more information to come and go freely from your computers to the World Wide Web. FYI, I guess.
For your information.
Sorry, I'll look out for you guys. Now, the next question is again an acronym. Who can tell me what the letters C and B mean? Team Blue. Okay, you can't just buzz to buzz. Hold on.
Call me back.
That is correct. Yes, there we go. Woo. The answer is call me back. Now, we have a 10-point bonus, so we can try to get Team Green some 10 points. Who can tell me what the letters... You guys ready? Okay. Who can tell me what the letters G1 mean? Team Blue?
1 gigabyte. What? G1.
5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
1.
That is correct. Now, Mr. Trevino, after 3 questions.
After 3 questions, we have a tie between Team Blue and Team Red at 20 points. And Rico, you may want to check the light on Team Green there.
We're warming up. We're just warming
Can
up.
you go check out
You're
that light,
just
see if it's
warming
working?
I think our light is broken.
Well, flip it for me. Oh, okay. Now, our 4th question is from our list of tech trivia questions. Who can tell me the meaning of the word ransomware? Ransomware. Now, do not buzz until you get the answer. Ransomware. Team Red. Whoever is with that loud voice right there. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2.
More money?
That is incorrect. Team Blue.
Something to export.
Attempt to export.
Attempt to export.
That is correct. Team Green has the 10 points. You ran out of time. It's an attempt to extort
Rico,
money.
I'm turning on my light.
Huh?
I believe they said attempt to export.
Attempt to
I did
export.
say that.
Did you say export or extort?
Extort.
With the T?
With the T. T.
Team Green has the 10 points.
Let's hear it, Clacker Held.
You guys do get the 10 points. I extort with the T, right? Yes. All right. Okay. Now, ransomware means it's an attempt to extort money by holding the data to a ransom. Who said that? Oh, okay. Well, recently, our technology department recently just discovered a ransomware this past school year. So, can we have a round of applause for our technology department? Now, we have one more question left to the end of the round and an opportunity for Team Green to catch up, Team Blue to hopefully get points, and for Team Red to... Alrighty. The last acronym for the round is BTW.
By the way.
Hold on. Did anyone see that? That was way fast. Was it red? Red? All right, what was the answer?
By the way.
That is correct. Team Red has the 10 points. Now, Team Red has also broken the tiebreaker, and that is the end of the first round, Mr. Trevino.
That's the end of the first round. Team Red is definitely our winner. Sorry, Teams Blue and Team Green, we have nothing for you. I've always wanted to say that, by the way. We'd like to thank our sponsors for this round's prizes. Let's give Joel Nava from Nava Studios and Julian Garza from State Farm Insurance a round of applause for their generous contribution. Back to you, Rico.
Thank you, Mr. Trevino. Now we'll be back for round 2 of Tech Trivia in just a few minutes. I'm Rico Martinez.
chances to win some prizes. We'll get the beach volleyballs going. And yes, we'll need about 12 more people up here. So get ready, because I know those people who are passing the beach ball. I saw you. And then obviously you'll get to meet, again, Rico Martinez and his sidekick, Alias Trevino. So our next speaker has a great message. She calls herself an active learner and has created an alter ego, or even a digital avatar for herself. Her message is really an eye-opener and a visual illustration of how your students learn today. She's a 7th grader just across the hallway here at Central Middle School, and the daughter of Erica Pena, the star teacher also at Central. Please help me welcome Zoe Danielle Pena.
Wake up and smile. It's been a while. It's been like a whole day since I stopped, so you could hold me. This child awaits, strong in the faith. Lord, you are the refuge, and I can't wait to get to, 'cause I can't let a day go, can't let a day go by without thanking you for the joy that you bring in my life. The 3 student keynote speakers today. So far, every message we've heard today has centered around 21st century learning and the conference theme. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. The song that I open with is my favorite song. It speaks of today, and my favorite words in the song say, I can't let a day go by without thanking you for the joy you bring to my life. The song is talking about my faith, but the people that I see every day, besides my mom and family, are my teachers. And I thank God for the joy each of you bring to life every single day. I'm going into the 7th grade at Central Middle School, and the one thing that I learned about myself, among other things, is that I'm an active learner, or visual learner. I like to see what is being taught and watch it develop in front of me. So, oh my gosh, jeez. I got tongue-tied. Engagement and group participation. So I put together a visual illustration that hopefully lets you see and hear what's important to me and to many kids like me. And so I'll start with an important question. Do you recognize me? Very soon, I will be your student, but I will not always sit in your classroom. I will not always take out a pencil or open a textbook. You grew up with books. I read from a laptop, an iPad, a smartphone. I use a keyboard more than a pen. I'm a digital native, an active learner. Why carry just a textbook when my iPad connects me to the world? I want to learn things all the time and right away. Maybe the price for cool games or where to hike the Himalayas. To learn, I look online because the classroom isn't enough for me. Not when I can see faces, hear voices, and chat with people on the other side of the world. I want to learn about Chinese history from someone in Beijing. My school has to keep up with me, not the other way around. I have more and more choices. When you were my age, no one had heard of a charter school. No one could imagine a virtual school. But it's projected that by 2019, half of all high school courses will be taken online. I use mobile devices to connect with friends, classmates, and teachers, and when I'm more connected, I'm more interested. I don't buy music at a store, or movies or books. I get them instantly online. And when they excite me, I share with friends. That's how I want my education to be. I need a degree even more than my parents. I know it and so do my friends, but will I be prepared? Public schools are under huge budget pressures and traditional colleges are increasingly unaffordable. I don't want crushing debt. So, if I can Google the best price for cool shoes, rest assured that I'll find the best choice for education, like 2-year institutions and online courses, where students like me have grown 6 million strong. And when I'm older, I want to keep learning. Do you recognize me? Very soon, I'll be changing the world, but I need you. If you're ready to change the world, I'll find you. But it's your challenge to keep up with me. I'm a digital native, an active learner. Listen to me, help me. Together, we can create the future. I represent over 18,000 students in our district, and we want to be recognized for who we are. So, as you prepare to greet us all in a couple of days, think about my message. I'm an active learner. What does that mean? Let me try to explain from my point of view. I think active learning is really the opposite to what might have been the standard mode of instruction, to where you teachers do most of the talking and we students do most of the passive listening. So here's me being a visual learner again. Think of a difference between a jar that's filled and a lamp that's lit. This is all metaphorically speaking, okay? If my brain represents an empty jar, and that all of you can teach me fills my empty brain, then this is one example of the traditional educational paradigm. Now imagine if part of your teaching includes my involvement, to where you teachers can give us the opportunity to clarify, question, and apply and consolidate new knowledge. In this case, you teachers create opportunities for us students to engage, where you serve as a guide to guide us and help understand and apply the information. Well, those were big words. Now I'm no longer the empty jar with an empty brain, and the lamp of a student learning that you can light. That took a lot of thinking on my part, and I think it deserves a round of applause. I'm only 12 years old, but just like I have my favorite pop stars, movies, and games, I also think I have my favorite ways to learn. I'd like to share 3 of them, maybe 4. Talking and listening. When we kids talk a lot, right? When we talk about a subject in class, whether we're answering a teacher's question, or explaining a point to another student, we organize what we have learned in our brains well enough to repeat it. And when we listen, it's like a lot of you men that have selective hearing with your wives or significant others. We too want to make sure that it's meaningful listening so that we can relate to what we've learned, to what we're hearing, to what we already know. When you teachers lecture, we need time away from the passive listening so we can absorb the first 10 minutes of your lecture. So talking and listening are my first favorite ways to learn. My second is both writing and reading. Like talking and active listening, writing allows me to process what I've learned well enough to repeat it and to find the right words. But reflecting is my #fave way of learning. I'm a little worried about getting into high school, because I hear teachers there lecture till the end of the period. Is that true? Yes, no, okay. I can just imagine students gathering up their notes and books and rushing off to the next class. And I can almost, metaphorically speaking, sorry, I just have to do 4 because before when I would practice, I would say metamorphically, like a butterfly. So I'm like, metaphorically, it helps me. See all the knowledge they gain evaporating from their empty brains. They've had no time to reflect, to connect to what they've learned, and to apply the knowledge they just gained. I think that allowing students to pause and reflect to use the new things that you taught us to help teach each other, or to answer questions on the day's topics is one of the simplest ways to learn. I want to close by saying this. My mom says I'm not gonna be a teenager. She calls me a screenager. Because so much of what we do as kids involves some screen or mobile device. I can see some of the most common differences between us and adults, and I can see them at home first. My mom has strong opinions against Facebook and social media. And when she takes my smartphone or iPad away as punishment, I feel disconnected and lost. So I read on my phone too. So I can understand why our teachers too have a hard time bridging the gap along the digital divide. And just like my mom gives in and tries to accommodate my growing and developing needs, I have hopes that teachers too can realize what it means for us to be digital natives and active learners, and to work hard towards accommodating our developing and educational needs. It has been a real big deal for me to speak to you today on KWES and the audience watching and live on the World Wide Web. It is even more amazing that my dad in San Antonio is also watching me here today. Hi, Dad! I want all of you to know that I am a proud product of each of you. All of you. You affect my life in more ways than you know. I've seen other schools in the valley, and I think we have the greenest grass and nicest looking schools. I see our yard guy Victor out every day in the hot sun, as well as our custodians, and I can't imagine how only one yard guy and 6 custodians can keep up with 1,000 students. But they do, and I'm so grateful that they do all that work for me. I don't think our yard crews in maintenance staff gets enough credit. Since I'm on the stage and I'm holding the mic, I like to ask for the maintenance staff for them to stand up and allow us to applaud you. Thank you for all you do for me, and for all of us in Wesleco ISD. And to everyone else, let's have a great year. Let's make it better than all the other years. And I hope that all of you can be proud of how many lives you shape here at Wesleco ISD. Thank you.
After hearing Zoe's message, I'm so impressed with today's youth. Let's give Zoe another round of applause. Our next person at the podium is also a familiar face. She was also one of last year's keynote speakers and reminded us of how engaged students need to be in the classroom. She's now a 7th grader at Central Middle School. She's a cheerleader and one of the school's top academic leaders in the classroom. She's the daughter of Chris and Vicky Papacek, and she's here to introduce our feature keynote speaker for the 2014 Convocation. Let's welcome Alex Papacek.
Our keynote speaker is a former NFL player. His story is amazing. He began as a special education student and ended up as a National Merit Scholar. Who made it possible for him to make the transition and become who he is today? He fully credits his teachers, counselors, and coaches for the invaluable acts of care, love, and concern. A superb speaker is how he is characterized as he addresses students and school staff all over the nation. He thoroughly enjoys interacting with students, but is thoroughly ignited when speaking to staff. Mr. Keith Davis is a former college and professional football player that has been seen on ESPN, ABC, USA Today, and Sports Illustrated. He is also an entrepreneur as well as a motivational speaker who has spoken in 5,000 schools and corporations in over 51 countries, including Australia, India, England, Russia, Brazil, China, Japan, Egypt, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. He graduated from the University of Southern California with his team's highest grade point average and a degree in business finance. While playing at USC, Keith was the team's leading tackler and an all-conference player. He was also selected to the All-American Strengths team and played in one of college football's biggest and most exciting games, the Rose Bowl. He has won 2 championship rings. After college, Keith signed his professional football contract with the New York Giants. Keith was one of the strongest players on the team during the preseason. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall, weighs 290 pounds, and bench presses over 515 pounds and leg presses over 1,800 pounds. Please help me give a warm WISD welcome to our keynote speaker, Mr. Keith Davis.
I want to say that the crowd this morning was excited, but you are super excited. And I am excited to be in one of the most fired up, energetic, enthusiastic school districts in all of Texas, which is right here in Weslaco. We get a chance with my organization, my winners organization. I have about 15 other NFL players that speak with us, and we have done schools from one end of the nation to the other in 51 countries. I have players from the Patriots, the Colts, the Browns, and we have a great time encouraging staff and students. One of the things that the students always ask, though, they say, man, those guys are big and strong, and they say, have you ever tried steroids? So we always look at them and say, no. We don't believe in shortcuts, have never tried steroids, just cornbread, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, collard greens, all that. But I love being down in the valley because in the valley it's more like frijoles, huevos, leche, fajitas, all that good stuff. And I have to give a special shout out to one of my favorite friends here in Weslaco. She's moved from the migrant department to, I think, Weslaco High School. Elva, where are you at? Elva, let's give Elva a big hand clap. She is my friend. When we would come, she would take us to some phenomenal restaurants, and she's only this tall, and some of the guys are 6'8", and they say, what are you doing with those 2-3 big old black guys? What's going on, So it's good to see you all here. Now, I want to see if I'm in the right place because, see, my goal, my desire, and even my job here, my time on this clock here is to impart some inspiration, some encouragement, and to stir up the vision that's in you and that's been set forth by your leader. So we'll have a lot of fun doing that, but before I get started, I have to see if I'm in the right place. So talking about vision, let's just go on a little journey real quick. I want you to envision with me right now, it's at the very end of the NFL football season, and the season has gone on and it's been very, very long. And now you are there and you are watching the Super Bowl. And the only thing about watching this Super Bowl is that it's a back and forth game and it's extremely competitive, and now it's down to the fourth quarter and the teams are tied up 20-20, and one team has the ball and they're marching, and then just with 5 seconds left, the quarterback drops back and he throws a bomb, and the guy actually catches the bomb in the end zone, and he's wearing number 88, and his name is Dez Bryant, and the Dallas Cowboys have just won the Super Bowl. Man, y'all got loud about that. Well, you just let me know that I'm in the right place at the right time because I got a crowd here who believes in the impossible. I got a crowd. You're a crowd. You believe it. I don't care what the odds are. I don't care what the facts are. I believe the impossible. It can be done. That's what you believe. Now, in order to help your belief, I need my man to come up and say that prayer again and add the Cowboys into that, Lord. God, we just need a miracle, Lord. Because without you, Lord, it ain't going to happen. You need to get one of those old Pentecostal grandmamas to pray. Pray the Cowboys through. Pray them through, okay? Pray them through. All right. Many times people mix me up. There is a cowboy I played a few years back. His name is Keith Davis as well. And so my Wikipedia is right next to his. And, you know, my Twitter is I am Keith Davis. And my Instagram, I am Keith Davis. So they get us mixed up. But I want to say this. I want to go on a journey with you as we begin this time because it's going to be a time that's going to need a lot of energy. And it's going to be a time to make the things happen that your superintendent has set forth. It's going to take a lot of camaraderie, a lot of teamwork, and a lot of vision. So let's go on a journey. We're getting ready to play in one of the biggest games of the year. It was the end of the year, and the team that we were playing, and this is a real game, actually. It was an intense game. And the thing about it was, as we were getting ready to play, they had predicted this team would blow us out. We came in, and all the odds were stacked against us. We were just having an up and down year. The team we were playing, they were phenomenal. They were big, strong, fast, and I think at that time they were actually undefeated. And I remember as we were getting ready for the game, we just taping our wrists, taping our ankles and gloves on, and we buffed out, helmets clicked up and mouthpieces in, and we began to walk down that tunnel, and the tunnel was a long walk, and by the time we got to the edge of the field, there were 90,000 people in the stadium, and the crowd was so loud, it just felt like the stadium was vibrating. And as we begin to run on the field, the energy is going, the enthusiasm, and all of a sudden the other team comes out, coin toss, and then it's game time. And we come out on the field and we call our defense, ready, break. And we're waiting for the other team to come up to the line. And as they break the huddle, they begin to jog up to the line. And as they begin to jog up, those big old offensive linemen, they're jogging up and they're just like, boo. Big old bellies jiggling up and down. Those boys were big enough to eat hay. Some of them dumb enough to enjoy it. They got down in their stance, and the quarterback began to call his cadence, red 88, blue 22, and the lineman in front of me, he's breathing real hard, and he's like, ooh, his head is shaking, his lips are jiggling, and his lips are so big, they look like two pancakes fighting for syrup, you know, because he's just fired up. 28, red 44. The quarterback happens to be ended up becoming one of the most prolific quarterbacks in NFL history. And you guys all know him. He ended up winning 3 Super Bowl years in Dallas. His name was Troy Aikman. This was a game. It was a college game. It was USC and UCLA. And as that ball snapped, 28, hard, he drops back, and with precision, in his younger days, he just began to shoot. And I'll age myself, all the younger guys who speak with me understand. And I promise you, with precision, they just went up and down the field, and we couldn't stop them. And they began to blow us out. They began to dominate us. They began to humiliate us. And I remember at the end of the half, it was so bad that we just had 0 on the scoreboard. And how many young people do we meet who come to school who look at their life and it feels like a 0? Look at where I live. Look at the clothes I have. Who look at their situation and their grades. I feel like a 0. And not only was it a 0 on our scoreboard, but as we ran it at halftime, the crowd just began to go, boo! And they booed us off the field. And we could have taken it had it been the opposing team's crowd, but it was our home crowd. And how many students show up in your classroom each day being booed? That father who is his real father, but looks at him and says, boo, you're not my son. I don't want anything to do with you. And so he shows up with anger in his spirit and then anger in his attitude. And yet he's going to be a 21st century learner. He's a lifelong learner. But what we're seeing right now is not what could be. Because he's being booed. And so simply as we got booed off at halftime, we got into the locker room. But there was something interesting about a great coach. Great coaches are different than average coaches. Great teachers are different than average teachers. You are not average. You are not ordinary. This is not an average or ordinary school district. I've been to thousands of districts in every country in the world you could imagine. And I promise you, I spent some time on the phone with your superintendent. He is a man that's a visionary. So simply this, your leader and our leader, he stood before us. Our coach said this, guys, I do not care what the scoreboard says. We have 0. I don't care what the crowd is saying. But I know you got it in you and we can beat this team. We just can't beat them with this game plan. We got to get a new plan. Everybody say new plan. New plan. Everybody say second half. So simply, they begin to make some changes. And if you're going to win, you have to be willing to change. It simply goes like this. The quote goes, change is not change until it's change. You've met about it, you've thought about it, you've had meetings about it, but it happens to be change. And so change is hard because all of a sudden, it's out of the comfort zone. Wait a minute. We worked 6 days on this plan and now at halftime in 10 minutes, we're going to change everything. But that's what you do if you want to win. And we begin to change everything. We came back the second half, and we begin to come back. And they line up 28 hard, and we begin to come back. Blitzes everywhere. Come back. We begin to score and come back and come back and come back and come back. And all of a sudden, at the end of the game, we're only 3 points down. The adrenaline, the momentum, the camaraderie, and these are all the things that you have to have as components. These are intangibles that make the tangibles possible. Technology is great, but I got to have energy, enthusiasm, camaraderie. I got to have these intangibles, and we had them. And all of a sudden, the end of the game, we just needed one more opportunity. Our quarterback drops back, throws a bomb, running down the field. My friend Eric, great receiver. He's running down as fast as he can. It's for the game. The guy is covering him. He's all alone in the end zone. The guy's all over him. He's not giving it up that easy as the ball is coming. He can't really catch it, but he reaches with one hand, and he doesn't catch it. But he reaches far enough before he goes out the back of the end zone, before he goes out about, he reaches far enough with one hand just to tip it. And he didn't pull it in with the one hand, but he tipped it enough to get the other hand on it. Because some kids need a little help with both hands. Parents, mom and dad and counselor and teacher and bus driver and coach. And then he pulls it in and the ball bobbles. He gets hit, it flipped. Everybody goes crazy. They don't know, is he inbounds? Is he out? Did he catch it? Did he not catch it? But the man with all the say-so just raised both hands in the air and just said, touchdown. And the crowd erupts and they go crazy. And the crowd is screaming and shouting. The Coliseum is going crazy. And why would I share the story at a staff development meeting? For one reason. We didn't win the game the first half. We won the game the second half. Come on, we won the game the second half. And we didn't win it with the old game plan. The old game plan was out. You could see it was losing. Old technology is out. It's not going to get us to 2025. We had to get a new plan. And you got to get on board because when you're winning, it's fun. When you're progressing, it's fun. And can I say this to make it even more relevant to you? There will be some students who will show up on the 25th and they'll be in your class. And there are some students who've had some bad first halves. They hit me up on the Twitter all the time. I was the one, you said something encouraged me, but I've been cutting and cutting myself because I felt like nothing, but today I feel like somebody. And today I saw my dad for the first time in 7 years, and I hated him, but what you said, I'm gonna forgive him. See, they were having bad first halves, and they're in your class, and they've been going through issues, and their parents have been divorced, and issues are going on, and you get the awesome opportunity to breathe the words of life, hope, encouragement, HOPT. Hold on to the picture you're expecting. I know your life is bad, but listen, the good news is about the first half is that I believe God let me be in Weslaco ISD today to make one announcement. And the announcement is he wants me to declare to every young person, every student, and every staff that no matter what has happened in your first half, everybody can have a great second half. Everybody say second half. Now, and that is the joy that you get to introduce a new plan, a new life, new words. And the thing is, I'm not just talking from a book on this part. I mention this story quite a bit because it's very real to me. Not just the game, but the aspect of the analogy. I was a young man who grew up in the inner city of Los Angeles, California. More clearly known maybe as South Central LA. My father never watched me play one game because my father got involved with drugs. He hung around the wrong people. And simply this, when he got involved with drugs, he got on the wrong track. And when I was 4 years old, my father committed suicide. Now my mother's all by herself. No money, no issue, no hope. And so my mother began to drink and drink and drink, trying to ease the pain. Kids are coming to class each day, drinking on the weekend, trying to ease the pain of the issues they're dealing with. My mom didn't only ease her pain with the alcohol, she did some drugs a little bit too, but then she tried to ease her pain with bad relationships, from one relationship to the next, abusive relationships. Her boyfriend was so big, so strong, so mean. He'd hit my mom. He hit me so hard in elementary school. I came to school, and for 2 weeks I couldn't hear out of my left ear. He had hit me so hard in the side of the head, and I began to go from school to school to school. The first half was so bad. I went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 schools by the 8th grade. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 schools by the 10th grade. But the good news is, no matter what happened in the first half, we can have a great, everybody say second half. There was a man that I met. He gave me encouragement. He gave me hope. He was a teacher. His name was Mr. Hutchinson. Mr. Hutchinson was an interesting teacher. He was a big man, but he was a passionate man. And you know what he did? He would gather all the boys in his classroom, and he would sit us down and talk to us about character, about strength on the inside, about treating girls with respect, about not getting high and getting drunk. But he made it fun for us. He'd give us a little lunch and little snacks, and then he would pull out his degree. He had to get his degree in the Navy. He said it took 8 years just to get his bachelor's and then his master's, but he would show it, and we would all look at the degree, and we were all young and from this rough part of town. We had never seen a degree in our life, but you know what he was doing? He was casting something that changed the world. He was showing us something, and he was imparting something that you have to impart, that every great person who's changed the world has, and every great educator I've ever met, they all have this one thing in common. Your superintendent has it. Many, many, many of you have it. You may not even be a teacher. You may drive the bus in the cafeteria, but you have it. Mr. Hutchinson was sitting us down, and he was showing those degrees, and he was giving us those words because he was sharing this one word. It's the word called vision. Everybody say vision. So vision, our coach shared it with us of what could be. What does it mean? Let's go to a definition real quick. The word vision actually comes from the Greek word optica, which is where we get the English word optometrist. You go to an optometrist, they are the person who checks your eyes, gives you eye drops, glasses. Vision, optica, optometrist. What does that word actually mean? Well, the Greek word vision actually means something far away. No one else can see it, but you can. And it actually means coming into view. It's not here yet, but I can see it. And it's coming into view. The reason people are laughing at your vision is because they can't see what you see. They don't understand why you have so much hope, so much expectation of that child, of your grandchild. Your grandchild has gone astray, but you still see their life coming into view because actually, let's put it like this. The great Helen Keller, her quote was very powerful. They said to her, as you know, she was completely blind. They said, what could be worse than being blind? Well, simply, she said it like this. The only thing worse than being blind is having sight with no vision. Do you know why? Sight can only see things as they are, but vision can see what could be. Sight is a function of your eyes, but vision is a function of your heart. It is that one thing that you keep seeing and it does not go away. You see it even when your eyes are closed and you keep seeing it. You see that child even though they're struggling right now. You see them a doctor, a lawyer, or a scientist. Even though they can't even pass their STAR exam in the 5th grade. You're a grandparent or a parent, but you see what could be. You are that person in the classroom who is so patient with that one child who everyone else and even the other district they came from gave up on, but not you. And that's why they always come to your class, because you see what could be. You have vision. Can I make an announcement today? An educator who has vision is a dangerous educator. But an educator who believes their vision is more dangerous. Your superintendent, he began to talk about things that are so far ahead, you think, what is he talking about? I was reading some information on that SpaceX project and the amount of money that they're spending here in the valley and the transformation that's going to happen. And only those who are preparing now will be ready when it comes, because you can see it. He can see it coming into view. So I have to educate him. Why am I bringing this? Let me bring this home to you today. You see what your marriage could be. Your husband ain't acting right. Your wife may not be acting right. You're not giving up on it, because I see it and it's coming into view. God gave you sight, but he doesn't want you to live by sight. Sight without vision is hopeless. Never trust your eyes over your vision. Your vision is more real than your sight. It's that passion. It's that zeal. It's that thing that keeps you moving forward. And can I say this? Your greatest gift is not sight, it's vision of what your life, your dream, your children, your family, your district, and your classroom could be. They may be the lowest now, but their STAR exam tests are going to be the highest. You know why? The character of the king is determined. The character of the kingdom is determined by the character of the king. I just want to say vision. Now, people have changed the world. Mr. Hutchinson, he did it. He inspired us. He encouraged us. And guess what? There's another lady who had vision. She began to change an entire country. I went to India. There are 1 billion people there. There were people who were sick, who were hurt. And this lady, she was a Catholic who had not only Catholic compassion, she had God-like compassion. People who were sick and hurt and nobody wanted to touch. But she said, I'm going to touch them and I'm going to help them because I see what they could be. You guys all know her. She won a Nobel Prize. She's passed. Her name is Mother Teresa. Why am I sharing that? She had vision. There's another man. He began to help people. You know what? He wasn't formally educated himself. His name was the great leader in California, where I'm from, Cesar Chavez. Why am I sharing this with you? Because he began to give his life to help others. He had a very powerful quote. He simply said this. He said, you cannot uneducate a person who has learned how to read, and you cannot humiliate a person who's learned how to feel pride. He said, we have seen our future, and the future is ours. Vision. Oh, I was in South Africa, and I remember there was a man. They said to him, you can get out of prison now. You've been in this prison. It's a funny place. If you stand on this mountain, Table Mountain, you can look and see where the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean meet. And it's a beautiful spot. And you can look out in that ocean about 5 miles, and there's an island there. And on that island, there was a man who was on that island in that prison, Robben Island. He was there. You know him, Nelson Mandela. He was there for 27 years in prison for one thing. because he wouldn't give up what he saw. Can I say this to you today? You got your degree, you got your job, you got your benefits, you got all that. But can I ask you today, release it. Impart the vision. Let's go for it. And as you know, the great Dr. Martin Luther King, very powerful man, he said it like this: I've been to the mountaintop. My eyes have seen the glory that come in the Lord. They said, what pushed that man so hard? Well, one thing that he had in common with every educator that's in here, and one thing he has in common with every person that's great in the world is, I met his daughter, is that he got tired. Everybody say tired. Can I make an announcement to you? Tired people run the world. And if you're working with kids, you're going to be tired. Everybody say tired. I'm going to give you a remedy for being tired, okay? That remedy comes from my mama, okay? I was 10 years old and I looked my mama in the face and I said, Mama, please, please, Mama, please, let me play football. The only problem was when I was 10 years old, I didn't look like this. When I was 10 years old, no exaggerate, I was a real short, chubby little kid. I had a big old belly. And I would wiggle and jiggle all over the school. You know what my favorite time of the day was at school? Lunchtime. I love them cafeteria ladies. All right. I go up to her and I say, can I get 2 scoops? And the funniest part about me back then was not only my belly, but as you can see, I'm an African American guy. So back then, I had one of those big old afros. First time I ever put a football helmet on, I had big old puffs coming out my ear holes and puff out the back. And I was a little chubby kid. And so my mama, I said, Mama, please let me play football. Now, my mother's passed away now. My mama didn't die doing drugs. She didn't die with alcohol. She didn't die in that raggedy neighborhood. My mama died living a wonderful second half. Her life was in peace. God restored her now. Everything about her was changed. I just had to share that because you're in a business of educating and technology and all that, but you're in a greater business called hope. And so simply this, here was her words for encouragement for being tired. There are some of you today, you're starting off tired. The year's hard. Your family issues going on. Your kids, this, my husband, wife, maybe you had a divorce. I don't know. You're starting off tired. And now you're coming to the kids, but you got to have life and energy. So here was her answer to me being tired. Because what happened was she took me down and signed me up. And then my coach walked out, and his name was Coach Rudy. I'll never forget him. He was my first football coach ever. Coach Rudy walks out on the field. Boo, boo. Big, mean, ugly dude. And he would scream, give me some laps. All the kids would take off running, and I couldn't keep up. I would be way in the back. I couldn't do the sit-ups. I couldn't do the push-ups. I was too chubby. My arms were locked all the way out. My little belly was still touching the ground. I was so tired at the end of the day. Everybody say tired. So I went home that night in our little government apartments. I looked at my mom and I said, Mama, I don't want to play football no more. He too hard, he too mean. He be yelling at me. And everybody laughing at me. And I was waiting for my mom to do all she always did, put her arm around me and say, that's okay, baby. Let me give you a little hug. You can quit, right? But for some reason that day, my mother didn't. My mother stopped. She looked me in the eyes for about 30 seconds. And she said something that absolutely changed my life forever. She looked at me and she said, boy, them people got my $50. You better get your little rear out on that football field. My mom taught me the greatest lesson I ever learned. Winners never quit. Come on, a little bit louder. Winners never quit. No matter how tired, no matter how much frustration you're dealing with, no matter whether it's the administration or the kids or school or home, you can't quit. You know why? You're a winner. You know why you can't quit? See that quote, Dr. Ed Cole, he was a mentor to me. He stood before us and said a statement that changed my life. Dr. Ed Cole's probably written 20 to 30 books, traveled to over 180 nations around the world. He came to speak to our team, and he stood and he made the most powerful saying I've ever heard in my life, and it changed me. And he simply stood before us, and I've known him till the day he passed. He passed about 10 years ago, and he simply said, gentlemen, I have one thing to say to you. We're some of the biggest, strongest, fastest, most prolific athletes in the nation. He said, winners are very different than losers. Winning has nothing to do with your athletic ability. He said some of the greatest winners have never played a sport. And then he dropped the most powerful statement I've ever heard. He just said, winners are different than losers because winners always look at what they're going to, and losers look at what they're going through. So as my mom said, she said, I've invested too much. You can't quit. I'm here to say to you, yes, kids are lifelong learners. Yes, they need technology, but they need you. They need that life that you have. They need that hope. Yeah, you went to college, but you got something greater. So here's the question for today among the staff here in Westlake WISD. The question for today simply is when you show up next week with the kids here, the question is, are you coming to a job or are you coming to work? And most of you don't understand that there is a difference. Are you coming to a job or are you coming to work? Let me explain real quick. A job is when you come and you're doing what you were paid to do. Work is when you come and you feel like you're doing what you were born to do. Let me say it a little bit different. A job is when they pay you for your skill and your training and all those things. But work is when they're paying you for your gift. See, yes, you're a language teacher. Yes, you're a technology teacher. Yes, I drive the bus. Yes, I'm a maintenance man. Yes, those are skills that I have. But I have a gift. What is my gift? I have a gift to encourage. I have a gift to inspire. Like he mentioned, even the bus driver. The bus driver, he was driving a bus, but he was releasing his gift on that young student in Westlake whose life has changed right now. He was releasing his gift. Can I say this? You cannot be fired. You can be fired from your job. You can't be fired from your work. Because you can't fire a gift. You can retire from your job. You retire from this district or another district. You can retire from that, but you can never retire from your work because it's that thing that's in you and you feel like you got to release it to this generation. And no matter what you're doing, it's just always coming out. You may even go to a different technology, a different form of technology, a different form of occupation, but you're still releasing that gift. And can I say that to you? You see it. It's the thing that you have. And guess what? You get to impart it and make a transformation of lives. Winston Churchill, very powerful man. I love something that inspires me, something he said that inspires me. He said it like this. He said, history will speak kindly about me because I intend to write it. And today, let's write some history on that first grader. Let's write some history on that third grader, that ninth grader. Coach, let's write some history on that team. Yeah, wins and losses, those are great. In Texas, y'all take it serious. I mean, it's like little NFL here in Texas, but it's the only place I know, man. Coaches, what do? I coach. You go to other places, coaches, man, they got to teach 6 classes and coach. Texas, you here to win, man. You better win, all right? You better win. But let's write some history on their hearts and character. I want to challenge you today. So in order for us to win, second half, a new plan. There's been a new plan unveiled for your district, a new direction. But the one thing that we have to do is we have to locate ourselves. We cannot win until we decide or find out, where are we now? Where am I now in order to get where I need to be? I know what I see, but how do I get there? Vision allows me to see the future in the present, but I have to see where I'm at now. So I want to give you a little bit of encouragement. I'm going to allow you right now in this moment to locate yourself, where you are in your career, where you are in your relationships, whether it's marital or you're just dating. I'm going to allow you in just a second to locate yourself, where you are spiritually. This test was given to me by my mentor. The first phase to locating ourselves so we can get to where we need to get to win in our careers, our lives, our relationships, and spiritually. The first phase, the first stage is a stage called revelation. The revelation stage is a very powerful stage. It's the stage which is what I've been talking about, where you see what could be. You look, you're an educator right now because you said, you know what? You may have been young, but you say, oh, my teachers, they encourage me. I want to encourage people like that. Or you say, I want to make an impact to all the kids in the valley or Wesco. I'm going to go. I want to be there. See, you see all the greater. You see it. Guys, the revelation stage is where you see that young lady and you see what could be. You say, wow, I could see marrying that girl, man. She fine. Ladies, the revelation stage is where you say, wow, he is so nice. I could see him as a great husband. You just see what could be. Revelation is a very interesting stage because once I see it, I can be it, I can do it. So revelation moves you to stage number 2. Stage number 2 is a stage called inspiration. The inspiration stage is very powerful. You know why? Because inspiration in that stage, all kinds of things are stirred up in you that you didn't even know were there. All kinds of creativity and new ideas and everything. All of a sudden, guys, you like her so much. Not only are you taking, you say, revelation, I see her, but I'm going to do something about what I saw. Revelation, I'm inspired to ask her out for a date. And now, not only did I ask her out for a date and took her to dinner, guess what? I'm so inspired by what I see. I'm going to write her a poem. I got some Mexican Don Juans out there. Yeah, man. Inspired. The lady, you say, oh, he is so nice. I'm going to cook him a meal. You're so inspired. Go to college. Sign up for the class. Fill out the job application. I'm inspired. Revelation, inspiration. Next phase, next phase. After inspiration, you go to the stage called phase 3. Where are you at in this process? Formalization. Formalization is a stage where it's official. The wedding date has been set. We're officially a family now. It's official. The WISD has offered you a contract. You have graduated from college. You got your degree. It's official. You are officially an educator. The business plan is done. It's no more if I can, would. The commitment is done. I've made the step. It's formalized. And then you have to watch it because there's a dangerous phase that you can move into. Next phase, phase number 4, you got to locate yourself. There's a phase called institutionalization. You ever seen somebody who's been institutionalized? Institutionalized people are interesting people. You see them in prison all the time. They just go through the motions. You show up at work, no energy, no creativity, no new ideas. Where's my check? Institutionalized people resist change, resist new ideas. Why we got to change it like that? We never did that before. Why we got to have all that technology? Stagnant, rigid, institutionalized, routine. Your relationship, there's no passion. Your relationship, no intimacy. Your relationship is a bunch of updates and memos. You take out the trash, I pay the bills. She more like your roommate, man. You know what I'm talking about. I'm hitting home for a minute. Anybody over 40 know what I'm talking about too here. You know what I'm talking about, all right. Last phase. Institutionalization always leads to this last phase. It's a death phase. It's called crystallization. You ever seen anybody crystallized? Crystallized church members. They show up at church, but they help nobody. They mad the person is in that. That's my seat. Crystallized educators. Can't nobody help them kids. Why y'all spending all that money and that time? No hope. Cold, hard, crystallized. An empty FedEx box there, but nothing there. And I meet people, some 25 years they've been here, but they not letting the life come out. Why am I sharing this with you? You crystallized relationship. Some of my men know you got to drive 3 times around your own house to decide whether you want to pull in the driveway or not. You're laughing because you know it's real. And I'm only saying that, don't let nobody know I'm talking about you. So just keep looking at me and nobody know I'm talking about you, okay? And you decide to go ahead and go in, and you only go in and stay there because your shoes are there. That's where your shoes are, all right? But can I say this real quick? You've been given a gift. You've been given an opportunity. Now, 21st century learners, lifelong learners. And now I see them at every phase, whether I'm teaching high school, middle school, junior high, you've been given this opportunity to impart. Oh, like the great people, I mentioned so many Nobel Prize winners, but you're winning the Nobel Prize in their lives right now. Mr. Hutchinson has no idea that I've talked about him in front of millions of people in over 51 countries around the world. His name is being proclaimed because he imparted something to me. He took time with me. So how do I get out of that institutionalized place, that crystallized place? How do I get out of it? I just gotta go back to the beginning. Every phase, we always go back. The United States government, when they go to the Supreme Court, how do they find out what it's really about? They go right back to the Constitution. Let's go back to the beginning. You go to church or the Bible, they want to know what the real meaning of something, they go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the Bible, the original Greek or Hebrew. What did it really mean? And so you got to go back and say, what did I really mean? What kind of passion did I really have when I started this career? Because you're not here for a job, you're here for your work. And then when you get back, you got to say, whatever you believe in, say, God, give me a new revelation. Help me to see in these young people what I've never seen before. I saw a man, they had been married 50 years, him and his wife, and I was at this track meet. My wife is a world-class sprinter, and he was telling me how he loved her more than everyone. He said, I see her like I've never seen her before. I didn't tell you about my wife real quick. My wife is a world-class sprinter. She ran on one of the fastest women's track teams in the world. My wife is fast, and she fine. I saw her running on the track one day, and I'd never seen a girl run that fast in my life. And the thing about it was, she was running so fast, but it looked to me like she was running in slow motion. She was so fun. I was like, I'm gonna be real with my men up in here. I was in college. She like, you know the commercial, milk does a body good. I told my homeboy, I said, ooh, man, homegirl was raised on a dairy farm right there. You know what I'm talking about? And guess what? She ain't just my wife, that's my queen. Why am I saying that? Because her friends would call her lucky. They say, you so lucky. They had never seen a dude treat a girl so special. And we've been married over 20 years now. They never seen a guy treat her so special. She's my queen. Why am I saying that? I got 2 beautiful sons. My sons are beautiful guys. My oldest son just graduated from UCLA. My other son is a junior at USC. She went to UCLA, I went to USC. I just wanted a legacy. Why am I sharing this? Because I can't just talk it, I gotta be it. I can't come here telling you a bunch of stories, you already see it. The Mahatma Gandhi, we were all in India. My wife, my sons, all of us. We went to his monument. Mahatma Gandhi, this relates to you today because you got this zeal, you got this passion, you got this gift. He said it like this. He said, you got to understand, he changed the nation. He said, we must become the change that we desire to see in the world. You want Weslaco kids to come fired up? You come fired up. You want those kids to have some big dreams? You have some big dreams. You want them to be passionate? Yes, passionate. You want them to think about the valley and what's going to happen in the valley and the technology that's coming and the money that's getting ready to be invested here? Guess what? You want them to think about it? You think about it. So he's thinking about it. And I want to challenge you today. It's a great phase. Go back. Go back. See what you've never seen, and then you know what happens? You'll get the inspiration back, because then all of a sudden new creativity comes, new ideas, new energy. You see it like you've never seen it before. So you don't know what got into you now. Boy, you 55, but you Don Juan right now, man. Here we go. I want to encourage you today. Go back to the phase. I had a principal. He said he retired 4 times. I said, why do you keep going back? He said, they keep calling me back. I go back to the school. I say, show me what I've never seen before. Show me what I've never seen before. He says, I see all these things and I get new ideas. Then I get new creativity, new ideas. And he says, and then I formalize it and I set it in place and I set it in place. And then it just changes the whole school. And then I retire again. And then they call me back again. And I keep going back and I keep going back. I'll close with this. It's been a great day. A poem that I say to myself, I'll say to you. Most powerful poem I feel like that I've ever read, other than the Bible. Inspirational words. Simply, it goes like this. The name of the poem is called I Am One. And it goes like this. It says, I am one. Yes, I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. So what I can do, I ought to do. And what I ought to do, by the grace of God, I will do. Because I am one. Yes, I'm only one. But I am one. I don't know what your position is. I don't know how long you've been here. I don't know whatever level you're at. I don't know what your vision is. I don't know what you've been through in your first half. I don't know what phase of your second half you're in. But all I know is you're one who can make a difference in this next generation. You've been chosen. You're a part of the winning team. It's an awesome place to be. So, I want to introduce a very special guest I brought with me to remind you why you teach. I brought him with me just to be a visual sense of why you don't give up. He's a phenomenal football player. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He went on because of many challenges to play his junior college football at Blinn Junior College right here in Texas, and he helped lead that team to a national championship. He helped lead their defense, while on offense they had a phenomenal quarterback that many of the men know who's run up and down the field in the NFL named Cam Newton, who won a Heisman Trophy. But then after Blinn Junior College, this gentleman was recruited by schools all over the country. University of Tennessee, Kansas State, Texas A&M. But he decided to sign his letter of intent and play his college football right there in his hometown for the University of Houston. He signed with the University of Houston. He would work out and train all the time. One of the strongest players on the team. He's big, he's fat, he's 6'3", weighs 290 pounds, and he's getting ready to pursue his career in the NFL right now. But he's here today. I want you guys to meet him. Let's give it up to my friend, Mr. Dominic Miller. Let's give him a hand clap.
What's up? Or should I say, Kapasa? Know you guys from Texas, I'm from Texas, and you know we do it big in Texas, right? Big trucks, big cars, big burritos. But most importantly, we do it big. Big dreams and big visions. And we're gonna do it big tonight.
Dominic, let's do this. Before we close, I want to close with something very special. We're gonna do a little bit, just need a little bit of help as we get started, okay? So real quick, sir, right in the front, my big guy right here, can you help me out for a second? Let's give him a big hand clap if you can come right on stage. And then there's a big guy in a purple shirt in the corner over there. Yeah, a big guy, I see you, man. Big guy, come on. Ooh, that's a big guy. Come on up here, sir, help me out for a second. I'll have you help me out for a second. And then, I don't know, it looks like husband and wife couple. I'm not sure. You two, sir and her, or can you both come up here and help us out for a second, okay? Let's give her a hand clap. All right, there we go. Awesome. Okay, great. And then I had my young lady who introduced the superintendent. Yes, come on up, help me out for a second. Come on up, help me out. Great, girl. Okay, awesome. Got these gentlemen and this lady's gonna help me out just for a second. Awesome. Great. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna have you all, I'm gonna have you stand right here, okay? And I'll have you right there. And she's so much my friend, I'm gonna have you right here. Okay, that's perfect. Actually, let's do this so the crowd can see a little bit more. We'll move it like this, I'll move you like this. I'm gonna move you right here. And how you doing, sir? All right, good. Move you right here. Okay. Ladies, I'm gonna have you help me out just for a second. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you stand right here. I'm gonna have you turn around and face me. Perfect, good. And you were so good. I'm gonna have you stand right next to him. Okay. That's special for you, okay? I'm gonna have you stand right here. I wanted to involve some students with this first program. We just used all educators, but I think it's powerful to have students involved. What we have here is a big, heavy inch of steel. And the reason I have this steel is because I'm gonna place this very lightly on your shoulder, just like that, okay? And then I'm gonna have you hold on really tight with both hands, okay? Both hands really, really tight. And the reason I have this steel is because I talked about a lot of things today, but simply what's happening is some of you today have had some bars that have stopped you. That's great to hear that. Passion, vision, but the problem is I have educators every day I meet who have some invisible bars that are holding them back from the passion, energy. What kind of invisible bars? Depression, discouragement, low self-esteem. I feel like a loser because maybe my family or my relationship that didn't work out and these things going on and I have all of discouragement and it's intangible. I can't see it, but it's real and these bars are stopping me. And if they're stopping you, they're stopping your class because what's in you comes out. So what we got to do is we got to get rid of the bars. And then the other thing we got to do, they're going to be, in the next few years, they're going to put in about $85 million worth of infrastructure here in the valley, and then they're going to be launching rockets. And so what we got to do is we got to go to a new level. So I want to talk about going to a new level. So what I want to do real quick is talk about going to a new level, and I'm going to have to talk about hanging on to your dreams. So I want you to hold on really tight, and I'm going to try with everything I can just to take that dream and vision from you. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, you've been working out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, you're mighty good. Okay. Now, the other thing is when you go to your class, the question is simply this. And when you leave here today, what size vision will you leave with? A little vision? An average vision? A big vision? Or a big old vision? When you get in front of your class, what will you leave them with? A little dream? An average dream? A big dream? Or a big old dream? Everybody say, buffet dream. Come on, we're in Weslaco. No limits now, no limits. Everybody say no limits? Buffet dream. Now, we can't forget this phase because we want kids to no drugs and no alcohol. Everybody say no drugs, no alcohol, no bad attitudes. Everybody say clean dream. That's what I'm talking about. Good. Okay. All right. So, ladies, real quick, we're just going to do one quick analogy. As Dominic talks about living life at the top. He's just, he's training for the NFL and all this stuff right now. He has a little shoulder injury, so he's a little bit sore on his thing. But we just want to talk about living life at the top. So what he's going to do real quick, he's just going to get up under this bar and lift both of these young ladies up and over his head like a couple of dumbbells, okay? Now, if you get them excited, and I know you guys are a fired up group, and if you get them really fired up, and if I can get some college football music and adrenaline pumping, he's going to get those ladies up in the air and kind of spin them around like a helicopter. Are y'all ready? Let's give him a big hand clap, everybody. All right, we're not finished yet. Come up here, Dominic. Ladies, you can stand to the side. He's gonna do another little thing that we like to do. It's called push. Everybody say push. So I normally do some of this stuff too, but I got a suit on today, and all the guys that do our assemblies, we do these little themes and these little analogies. So he's in push-up position, and he's going to do a push-up, but not just an average push-up. Actually, he's going to try a push-up with somebody really, really, really little standing on his back. So come on up here, little jerk. And on the count of 3, I'm gonna need you to say push. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Not loud enough. 1, 2, 3. She was nice and cute, but we're in Weslaco and we can't stop with little dreams and little vision. Average dream, come on up here, help me out, sir. Here we go. On the count of 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. That's good, but we're in Weslaco. We can't stop with an average dream or average vision. Big dream, come on up, here we go. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. If I can see the invisible, I can do the impossible. Everybody say, big old dream. Come on up, sir. Here we go. Let's go. Let's give him a hand clap. Here we go. He got some big old feet. Here we go. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's give him a hand clap. On the count of 3, let me hear you say push. 1, 2, 3. Everybody, you are awesome. Let's give my volunteers a big hand clap. Here we go. All right. All right, my time's almost up. Push. What does it mean? Oh, your superintendent knows. It means no matter what I have to make, what changes I have to make, no matter what the situation says, I have to push. I have to persevere. Everybody say persevere. Until success happens. Weslaco WISD, you're pushing now. I just want Dominic just to share briefly a little bit of his story on why you never, ever give up on a young person. Every child is a 21st century learner. Every child has a great future. And so I just want you to hear a little bit of his story. Let's give it up for my friend, Mr. Dominic Miller.
Doing those push-ups can be tough. But seriously, playing football on TV in front of 80,000 people can be very hard. You know, playing football while everybody watching you in the nation can be very difficult. But it wasn't the toughest challenge I ever faced in my life. When I was 15 years old, both my mom and my dad dropped me off at school. And when they drove up the street, FBI agents got out the car, they put guns to their face, and they said, get down on the ground. They took them both to federal prison. That same day, they arrested my 65-year-old grandmother. They kicked the door down. They put guns to her face, and they took her away. That next day, I saw my mom and my grandma in court. And when I saw them, they had chains on, from their hands going all the way down to their feet. So when they walked, they had to take one step at a time, just like this. All I can do was cry. I was hurt. My dad had gave me a call later that day, and he told me he was facing 20 years in federal prison. The only thing I could think of, the only word I can even get out was that I did not want to be in this world anymore. I wanted to commit suicide. My world turned upside down. I was destroyed. Like, I isolated myself from everyone. I went to school angry. I wasn't doing my work anymore. My GPA went down. I wasn't studying as hard as I used to. I used to come to study hall every morning. First one there, last one to leave. All that stopped. I was doing drugs. I was selling drugs. I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, that I'm not proud of. And I was in a very, very, very dark place. But Martin Luther King said best, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And the light cast out my darkness. And the teacher, one of my teachers, his name was Dr. G. He was a big influence on that. He told me 6 words that changed my life. He said, keep your eyes on the prize. Those words was powerful. Those words brought life to me. And I forgot those things that were behind me, and I started pressing towards those things that were in front of me. I started playing football again. I started getting my dream back, my vision back. My grades started going up. I was focused. I kept believing in myself. Anytime obstacles came my way, anytime storms came my way, I kept pushing because I was keeping my eyes on the prize. And you know what? I went to Blinn Junior College. And from there, I transitioned to University of Houston. But I didn't leave empty-handed. From Blinn, I got my associate's degree. And this past May, in 2014, I was the first one in my family to walk the stage and get my bachelor's degree. The first one.
Everyone say second half. Say new plan. So the words of an educator turned his life around. They weren't scientific words, even though he had begun to learn science. He was teaching science, but he was releasing his gift, and his life changed. Let me close as I have this last 30 seconds. Simply this. The end of the story goes, his father did not end up doing the whole 20 years. He did a lot of time, but it's so interesting because his father got out of prison just in time to see his only son walk across the stage at the University of Houston and graduate. I said I was in a place of educators who believed that the impossible was possible. Now, and the other thing that happened is so interesting and so cool is that something happened on the football field in front of 50,000 people with all the TV cameras from Houston there. And Dominic, something very interesting happened. So can you share with the crowd what happened on that football field?
On the 50-yard line, I got down on one knee and I asked my beautiful girlfriend to marry me.
And just this past, in the middle of June, they officially formalized it. And now he's married. He got Miss Dominic with him. Her name is Chelsea. It's so awesome. You guys know what, right? You know what's happening, right? He's in that inspiration stage right now. They just all over each other and all that stuff. I was on a plane, this couple, they were all over each other and hugging, and the girl was nudged up and napping, he was rubbing her hair and this and that. And I fly millions of miles, and I said, oh, they're in the inspiration stage. But I've seen some institutionalized couples on the airplane too. I'm not joking. One couple, he was in first class, she was back in coach. Nah, it's not happening. So anyway, our time is up. She's my beautiful friend. We did this with Educator, but to represent the next generation, we're going to close in this last just few seconds. You're going to be a part of our team. It's going to take teamwork to win. So what we're going to do, Dominic has, you see on his hand, has some humongous diamond and gold championship rings that he's got a chance to win. And then for those who notice, have some rings as well that we won a few championships and a few Rose Bowls, and have my name, my number, the stadium. They're very expensive, very valuable, very big, very heavy, but we're going to make you an official member of our team because you are the champions of tomorrow, and we never, ever, ever forget about tomorrow. So in order to make you a true champion, I'm not just going to put the rings on you, but I'm going to do something very, very special. I am going to place on you, I have an authentic New York Giants throwback jersey. And she's going to be a part of the team. Everybody say teamwork. There we go. There we go. Oh, that looks nice. And I'm going to have you hold your fingers out like this. Big diamonds, big gold. It was a great quote that simply said, apart we can do so little, but together we can do so much. And we're working together to make it a great year. So big, heavy diamond rings. I'm going to put this one right here. You got an itty-bitty pinky. Look at that. Wow. Dominic got another ring. This is huge. We'll put this one right here. Going to put them all on one hand, okay? Now I'm going to put this one even here. It's a lot bigger right there. And then give me that humongous one. I'll slide this right here. Ball your fist up really tight. Don't let them fall. And everyone say it with me. Bling, bling. Hold it right there. Don't let it move. It's something about a championship attitude. That teacher spoke championship words to him. Hold your hand right there. And the last thing we'll do, our time is up. We're going to take the number one sign. I'm going to have you hold it up. My coach would do this, and we would all hold up our number one sign. So you take that hand, hold the number one sign, and coach would say 1, 2, 3, and we would all say, I am a champion. You are one. Yes, you're only one. So therefore, you're a champion that's going to impart to champions. So everyone, let's close it out like this. Please hold your number one sign up. And then as loud as we can on the count of 3, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and you're going to say it like you believe it. I am a champion. And therefore, your class will be as well. Hold it up high. Take one quick peek at your number one sign, please. Look at that sign. I want you to remember that sign because I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be holding that up this year. All right, here we go. Just joking, just joking, just joking. On the count of 3, I'm a champion. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. It's been great being with you guys. You can follow me. You're awesome. Thank you, Superintendent, as well. And for those who are on Twitter or Instagram, follow me at I am Keith Davis. Instagram, I am Keith Davis or keithdavis.org. But you guys have been great. Thank you so much. Phenomenal today. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I'm thinking it, I know everyone here is thinking it. As soon as they walk out, we feel pretty bad for the buffet offering all you can eat because those boys are gonna tear it up. Let's give another round of applause for the 2. Well, it's that time of day again. I think I want to play a little tech trivia. What do you think? Are you ready for this? Now don't forget the rules. There's going to be 6 beach balls falling, and whoever's the last to hold it as soon as the music stops has to come up. But don't forget, we have some awesome prizes, and we've got Rico Martinez here to take over.
Alrighty, there we go. Now you have selected your team partners. Position yourselves. Please introduce yourselves and tell us which campus or departments you represent.
My name and what campus?
Campus.
My name is Marlene Garza and I represent Central Middle School. Chapa.
Michelle Cepeda, Cluckler held 5th grade. My name is Delma Soleather. I work at Memorial Elementary, and I'm a parent specialist.
Sally Laguna, and I represent Kleckner Held.
Dorali Hernandez, I'm Houston.
And Angela Pompas, I'm Houston.
Okay. Now, once again, we will do 3 acronyms and 2 tech trivia questions. Now, the first acronym is, and this is my all-time favorite, ANAWFOS. It is a long one, it's huge, I know. If anyone wants to help, studio audience, you have 5 seconds.
And now a word from our sponsors.
You have to buzz in.
Now a word from
Team Green.
sponsors.
That is
Sponsors, yes.
that is correct.
Yes, I was right.
And speaking of our sponsors, the winning team for this round can either win a $100 gift card from our good friend at the dental office of Dr. Hector J. Montalvo here in Weslaco and a Kindle Fire from the good people at Apex. You can catch up on all your reading and visit your dentist all at the same time. Back to you, Rico.
Alrighty, thank you. Now, our next segment of tech trivia is, in fact, a tech question. Now, who can tell me what a phablet is? Phablet with a B, not a P. Team Blue.
To vote.
A phone tablet. Palm Pilot. A phone tablet.
That is correct. Team Blue has the 10 points. It is a large smartphone that looks like a small tablet. It's bridging the gap between both. 10 points for Team Blue.
Okay, we're tired. We gotta get.
Please don't forget to turn your light on.
Yes. Now, the next acronym is, in fact, my favorite song. Who can tell me what the letters LIG mean? Team Blue.
Let it go.
That is correct.
Let it go.
Let it go. And you can't say anything. Yes. Mr. Trevino?
After 3 questions, blue team has 20 points, green team has 10 points. And Rico, can you check the light on red team there? I don't know, it may not be working.
Alrighty, the next is a tech trivia question. And who can tell me what it means to serve up the cookie? 5 seconds. Team Blue?
To be on top.
Team red, actually, Rico was the first one.
Team Red? 5 seconds.
1, 2, 3.
And time's up. Team Green?
To be on top.
No.
Well,
this is incorrect.
Where are my
Cookies
tech
contain
people?
information. Cookies that contain
They
information.
contain
Cookies
information.
contain our
Everybody
space.
there.
Team Green has the 10 points. Sorry. Cookies contain information that identifies each
other.
user. Now, please, before you buzz, make sure you have the answer.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. Our last acronym, and a chance for Team 2 to have we have a tie between Team Green and Team Blue. Well, let's see who can break the tie, and for Team Red to try to catch up. Now, get your buzzer hands ready, because I'm pretty sure you guys have heard this one. Who can tell me the meaning of YOLO? Team Blue.
You only live once. You only
Wait,
live
hold on,
once.
hold on.
You only live once.
You're not
You
even
only
in
live
it.
once.
No. Okay.
You only live once.
Team
You
Red.
only
Who
live
saw
once.
Team Red first? Team Blue. No.
Did they turn on their light?
They had their light. Well, who saw Team Blue? Just shout. Just shout.
Let's hear it for Blue.
It looks as though they were together. They were together. That's what it appeared to be.
So,
Let's go on to the next one, Rico.
alrighty. And that was a tie. Alright. Now, since we did have a very fast round for that one, we have a bonus round worth 20 points. This is kind of a hard one. Let's see who can get it. What is the meaning of the acronym ROTFL? Team Blue. Team Blue.
Rolling on the floor laughing.
That is correct. Team Blue has the 20 points. Mr. Trevino?
And that is the end of round 2 of Tech Trivia. And Team Blue wins with 40 points. 20 points for Team Green. And the lights off in Team Red. Once again, winning teams on this round take home prizes worth $100, gift certificate, and a Kindle Fire from Apex. Let's give our sponsors another round of applause.
Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. Back to you, beautiful weather girl.
And you guys are having way too much fun for your first day of school. We do have one final keynote speaker. Now, I can't say much about her. Her message will speak for itself, but I can say this. As you hear her story, always keep in the back of your mind the term that you've heard here before, and that is a part of your district's logo, the whole child. We're going to get a clear lesson, on what that really means. Please welcome graduating senior of the class of 2014 from Weslaco High, Irene Infante.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I wish that I could be like the cool kids, like the cool kids.
Hi everyone, my name is Irene Infante. I purposely asked our hosted MC to limit the accolades in my introduction because I want to stand here and represent two different people. You see only one person standing up here today, but I really am two different people, and I'd like to find out which one you can see more clearly. The lights. I am a teen mom. I have a son named Simon Jude, and he's 4 years old. I am a scholar. I am one of 2 Gates Millennium Scholarship recipients here in Weslaco this year. Thank you. Well, that applause tells me one thing. You're more impressed with my scholarship award than you are my parenting skills. Well, I want to take you back to my 8th grade year because how you feel about me now is very different from what you thought about me then, and I think there are some important lessons to learn from where I stand today. I got pregnant in 8th grade, and literally just saying that makes me cringe. You can't imagine what I went through back then, or maybe you can if you've experienced something similar to mine, something similar to what I've experienced. I was a child myself, but I'm not going to stand here and pretend like I was some ignorant girl who didn't know what to do with herself. I'm mature, right? Am I? Yes. Of course I am. Well, besides my support group at home, it was the teachers at Weslaco WISD that really had an impact on me in my journey throughout high school and ultimately the preparation I had for college. I hope that my experiences as a teen mom can evoke an idea as to how many of the students at Weslaco WISD go through life. Life itself is difficult to get through without academic obligations and the pressure to fit in, because I'm sure even teachers struggle to fit in. You and I are very different, but we can feel the same things. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, an AP teacher, a regular teacher, an honor student, a skipper, the superintendent, or a counselor. Within each of us there is human potential, like potential energy, waiting to be triggered so one can unleash the uniqueness within them. And whenever this occurs, we, as the students of your learning institutions, want to look to you for guidance on how to handle certain situations without being judged on how we may handle them ourselves. Behind me on the screen is my son, Simon Jude. There's a little selfie for you. He mostly likes to be called Jude. Today is actually his first day of school at San Martin de Porres. Anyway, if I do say so myself, my greatest accomplishment in life was not getting the scholarship award or being in the top 10 of the senior class. As silly as it sounds, my greatest accomplishment was potty training Jude. I know this is really off topic, but it's hard to teach a child one of the basic concepts of life, and I'm proud to say that I did it all by myself, with the help of my family, of course. And I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I mean. It takes pure dedication and one-on-one learning with your son or daughter. Although Jude honestly deserves most of the credit because all I did was direct him towards his own success. I guess in a way I was a teacher like you. Well, I had been in the position of the student my whole life that I could now see the idea, the concept behind the student and what they do to get to where they want to be from a different point of view. And during this potty training process, I watched Judy struggle to please me, to get things right. And clearly I could relate, when I was pregnant, I tried so hard to get teachers to like me with my grades, without them having to take into consideration my unfortunate situation and label me as some kind of troubled youth. I guess it allowed teachers to look past my academic ability and label, just judge my choices as a young girl. You know, so I mean, I was a good student. It sucks, excuse my language, that some people couldn't see one part of me because of a different part of me. You know, in the classroom, what we want is to please you. We just want to be the best that we can. So we are at school more than we are at home. We see you more than we see our own parents, so it's only natural that we want to confide in you on certain things. In other words, when you shut us down, reject us, hurt us, it's like our own parents are doing it to us. Understand that students have feelings, okay? We're not just robots that show up to class and listen to you for the whole period. No offense. Sometimes we'll show up to class and we'll sit through the whole lecture, but really the whole time we're there, something has been on our mind worrying us. And that's just honest from, you know, my own experiences. Imagine following one of your students home after school. What do they go home to? Do they have a home at all? Each one of them is an individual with their own story. Sometimes school is the only place they feel safe. Sometimes it's the last place they want to be. But one thing is for sure, school will always be there. And you as teachers should always be there for all your students in all your classes, AP or regular, looking beyond what you see on the outside and looking deeper into their purpose in life, which is to learn, to live, and to succeed. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything because I hate that. At this point, I loathed going to school because I was afraid of walking into a classroom and feeling unwanted, embarrassed, and harassed by people around me. And that summer after Jude was born, I had the opportunity to make things different and start new. And at this point, I guess, I don't know, as if entering our freshman year isn't hard enough, you know? We are all pale, pimple-faced, goofy-looking, and uncoordinated. But that first day of school, when I walked into my second period class after band practice, my hopes and dreams for fitting in were all but crushed. Bullying nowadays has different meanings and variations, and maybe my experiences were more just like kids being mean. But I heard the sneers from the back of the class, and I felt the stares and the sideways looks when I walked the halls, and most of what I felt that was hurtful was the silence when people said nothing at all. I learned what it felt like to be alone and even abandoned by some of my closest friends. Well, as time went on, I was able to manage high school a lot easier, but I never liked a teacher starting a conversation with, "Oh, so you have a baby?" It was basically them implying that I had been the subject of some gossip and it was really going to be harder for me to fit in. Really, all I ever wanted in high school was to fit in, and having a baby didn't allow me to do that. I will say, though, that it allowed me to be more confident and prideful in the things that I did because I explored different areas of activity that I thought I would enjoy. So I joined a lot of clubs. And so much dedication goes into extracurricular activities. There were so many sleepless nights, and I know there are more students like me, you guys know too. I don't know if you feel the same way, but assignments are more valuable than sleep. So the process during my sophomore and junior years were basically to go home after school, finish my homework, take care of Jude, probably go to sleep at around 3 or 4 in the mornings as soon as everything was done, and then wake up at 5 to get ready for band practice, and then just repeat it forever. I don't know. And it was just a never-ending process. That's just how it goes for students who are really serious and really care about school. What I do appreciate are the teachers that didn't take any pity on me. And oddly enough, it was the teachers that didn't know or they didn't care that I was a mom. They had their expectations and their standards, and regardless of whether or not Jude was up all night with an ear infection or a fever, because that did happen, they treated me no different than any other student. There were teachers like my AP English language / academic decathlon coach / masterminds coach, Mr. Gonzalez, I don't know where he is, his amazing wife, and my former AP US history teacher, Miss Claudia Gonzalez. There was my AP English Lit and UIL Ready writing coach, Ms. Cifuentes. You all were so honest and loyal, and I gained so much from your classes. There was my computer science teacher, Mr. Medrano, who's one of the best teachers that I've ever had. There was Mr. Garcia. He was my Spanish teacher for 2 years, and he was one of the few people who actually understood my desire to succeed as a student. And there was Miss Overton, who gave me so much respect and so much knowledge, even though I was always tired in her class. And I can go on and on forever about teachers that have impacted me in some way. And I have great and wonderful memories and stories with all of you teachers, but what set them apart is how they allowed me to simply fit in. They treated me no different than any other student, and it made me feel like a normal kid. They saw all their students with equal potential, regardless of where we came from, regardless of any mistakes we made. We were all capable of academic success and the ability to channel it to greater things in life. We all could achieve equally, and they knew how to draw success from even this teen mom. I had to work harder than most students my age, but it didn't keep me from benefiting from a fulfilling high school experience. As you can see on the list behind me, I was in many student organizations. Now in the fall, I'll be attending the University of Texas at Austin, majoring in philosophy as my pre-law major. Thank you. I'm happy to acknowledge myself as a Gates Millennium Scholar because out of over 52,000 applicants, I was one of 1,000 chosen, and out of those, only 300 are Hispanic. 20 this year from the Valley, and I'm one of 2 from Westlake, so it's completely amazing, and I'm so thankful. Well, I'll be leaving on Sunday, and I guess now it's time to leave Westlake. Jude will be staying with my parents here in Westlake. I guess it's time to leave, but I can assure you that the memories that I have with all of you, good or bad, they won't be forgotten. They'll stay with me forever. So, if there are 1 or 2 messages that I could leave you with, it would be this. You all are among the first group of people that we look up to. From day 1 in Stephen F. Austin, I can guarantee you that we're already looking up to you. Well, I was already looking up to you for comfort and nurturing and advice. While I do admit that during my pregnancy, I was fragile, and there were a few misguided options that teachers directed me towards, I used it to give me meaning and purpose and courage to prove the stereotype wrong. But what you think of us students, the way you see us, really does in many ways help us decide how we see ourselves. Our confidence level, the pride in the things we do, largely comes from each of you and our desire to impress you and seek your approval. But today I'm grateful to both groups, those that may have doubted me and those that inspired me. I don't think I would have had the same results happen if either of you would have been absent. I wanted to end this with one of my favorite quotes from the popular poem, The Road Not Taken, which is also was my senior quote, just FYI if you have your book. It's at the end of the poem, Robert Frost. He says, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. I guess what I'm trying to say is that being a teen parent isn't exactly the road people are begging to go down, obviously. But I took on the responsibility, and really if I hadn't, I wouldn't be here today because I wouldn't have tried so hard in school. Also, I'm not bitter anymore. At the time, I didn't need your sympathy. I needed you to give me a chance, and I'm glad that I was able to learn from those of you who did. Thank you for the opportunity. Truly, our decisions offer us different paths, and they led us here today. Whatever the choice may be for you, I hope it makes a difference in someone's life, whether it be a spouse, a son, a daughter, a student. Make a difference. It is our future you're shaping. So tell me again, who do you see standing up here today? Do you see a teen mom with limited potential? Or do you see a GATE scholar with unparalleled potential? In a few days, a new group of students will walk into your class, and for all practical purposes, you will define them based on your first impressions. Please don't make them work harder to impress you. Give them first the benefit of your doubt. Teach them as if they were your GATE scholars and top 10 students. We are all deserving of your very best. Thank you.
And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to be.
There are no follow-up words to help me validate that message. I definitely believe that no matter what obstacles her and Jude come across, they will definitely have success. Let's give another round of applause for Irene. Now, Steve, do we have time for another game of tech trivia? Yes, we do. Okay.
It is a real TV.
Alrighty. Now, before we start, I want to ask whoever has a beach ball to take your seats because we're going to go through something real quick. Sorry, yeah. Hey. Calm down. Alrighty, now this is the final round of Tech Trivia, and yes, I am your host, Rico Martinez. Now, so far we've had a great time with all our contestants, and I just want to take a moment to show how different our generation is when it comes to technology. Now, you guys don't have to answer this. Don't get offended. How many of you are 25 years or older? Raise your hands if you want. It's okay. We won't judge. All right. It's okay, it's okay. Now, how many of you wear wristwatches? Raise your hands. Now, you see, that's funny, because if you asked a group of my friends or teenagers in general, they'd say, what for when I have my smartphone? True, see, I heard that. What's up? Alrighty. Now, your wristwatch is what we call a single function device.
Rico, I'd like to also note that my watch tells the date.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Mr. Trevino for his double function device.
Thank you. Thank you.
But seriously, us kids are growing up with smartphones and gadgets that not only tell time, but can fulfill literally hundreds of multi-level functions. Now, they can go on from entertainment to research to social networks and beyond. And wristwatches have had to conform to keep up with multifunctional devices and smartphones. Now, let me ask this question. How many of you wear wristwatches that can now keep your heart rate, count the steps you take every day, and keep your body temperature? Yeah.
Rico's on fire. Back to you, Rico.
Now that's a great example of how we students need each of you teachers to conform to the way we students learn today. Now, I'm not a keynote speaker, so let's just get on with the show. It's now time for anyone who has a beach ball to come on down. Sorry, thanks guys. Woo, round of applause. It's now time for Tech Trivia. Mr. Trevino, prizes.
Oh my, you are lucky to be a contestant on this round, or this final round. A 32-inch flat screen TV from the Texas Farmers Bureau and their agent Nicholas Hernandez. Or you can win a $100 HEB gift card from our Mayor David Suarez. Let's give a round of applause to our sponsors.
Now introduce yourselves and tell us what campus or departments you belong to.
My name's Lawrence Rida, and I'm from Gonzales Elementary School.
Rico, I am your football coach.
Yeah, I know, what's up?
TV, Rico. Craig Johnson, the Westlaco High School.
Yeah. Jennifer Carrillo from South Palm Gardens.
Elma Chapa from B. Garza Middle School.
B. Garza.
Rosie Hernandez, Kleckler Held Elementary.
Andy Nordea from Central Middle School.
Now we do have the first acronym. Now, who can tell me the meaning of, yeah, get ready. Okay, they asked me to remind you to please get the answer first before you buzz in. Now, we will give the studio audience time to shout out the answers, because that is part of the game, but please get the answer first. Alrighty. Who can tell me the meaning of JS? Team Red.
Just saying.
That is correct. Woo! 10 points to Team Red for just saying.
Rico, are you going to challenge your coach this early in the year?
We got conditioning
Flip that
after
10.
practice.
Flip that 10 there, Rico. Flip the 10 back.
Sorry, Coach.
You will be.
Oh, okay. Are you done? Okay. Now, the next portion is a tech trivia question. Who can tell me the meaning of yo-yo mode? Now, this one really does have a double meaning. Who's David? David. No one?
A computer rapidly.
Ooh, who saw it? Green? I hear
Rapidly
green.
alternates between some.
Team Blue has the points. Woo! Yeah. Now,
Second nature.
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, he got it.
A computer rapidly alternates several times between being up and down.
He got it though, sorry. Now, Coach said the technical meaning, you cheater, but he got it. Now, now, he
Rico,
didn't get,
I smell fear.
yeah, right. Now, the double meaning is, it's also slang for when guys or girls string you along. I didn't write this, stop. As in, dude, haven't you learned your lesson about her yet? She's in permanent yo-yo mode. Now, are you ready for our second acronym? Coach, try not to get this one. Alrighty. Who can answer correctly the meaning of P-O-T-A-T-O?
That spells potato.
It spells potato, but it is not French fries or the potato. I've checked, it's not. It's a technical meaning. It's an acronym, sorry.
Team
That
Green.
is correct. Team Green has the 10 points. The answer is person over 30 acting 21. Example.
Rico, just for the record, that's the neighboring district, not here. Not here.
Mr. Trevino?
We have a three-way tie, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Tiebreaker.
Rico, we don't have a tie. I'm winning.
I
We're
saw
winning.
you, liar. It's 3 questions. There is 3 questions. You guys all have 10.
We're not going by 20s.
Okay. Now, Here's the final trivia question. And let's see who can break the tie. Now, this is a tech question. What is the function of an Uber app? An Uber app. Team Blue.
Did you get it?
Did you get a taxi? 5 seconds. Did you get a taxi? 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
On overqualified application?
Excuse me?
Overqualified app?
Taxi.
I got it. Taxi. Taxi.
Red has the points. Red has the
To
points.
get a taxi.
To call a taxi. Help me out here.
To call a taxi. To call a taxi. To hail a taxi. The app connects passengers to drivers for here. For hire.
All right, hold on.
To hail a taxi.
Blue.
This is a tough round.
We had it first.
You got your running shoes on there, son?
Rico, let's go to the next question. Sorry.
Such a buzzkill, man. This is so exciting.
It's a tough group here.
Michelle.
Alrighty.
He already knows the answer.
Alrighty, now that was our last tech trivia question. Now, this is our last acronym in our final round of tech trivia. Okay, who can tell me the meaning of the letters? Now, this is a tiebreaker, so whoever gets this wins. TNT. TNT. Till next time! Team Red had that.
Till next time.
That is correct. Team Red has the 20 points.
That was an amazing third and final round. Thank you for your participation once again. They've earned a 32-inch TV or a $100 HEB gift card. The ladies are going to take them back to play rock, paper, scissors. Who takes the TV?
Okay, who wants to take the TV? Okay, now, Scudor, we're going to have a game of rock, paper, scissors. Now, do you guys want to do 2 out of 3 or just 1? No, I don't want to flip the coin. Okay, we're going to do the best 2 out of 3. You don't know how to play rock, paper, scissors?
You pick rock, paper, or scissors.
You know how to play, okay? Alrighty, guys. Ready? Ready? Rock, paper, scissors. No, you're still, hold on. You still got some chance. 1-0. Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Ooh! You guys are tied now. Whoever gets this one wins the TV. Are you guys ready? Rock, paper, scissors. Ooh!
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give our sponsors a big round of applause. And a big round of applause for Rico Martinez.
Thank you. You guys all made this convocation for me very fun, exciting, and special. And I was honored to be your host. Let's have a great year. Woo!
All right, we have one more surprise for you, and I think this will rock your socks off. As you know, we've made reference to today's theme, and it's from Fleetwood Mac, from their 1980s hit, Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow. We may not have Fleetwood Mac here, but we do have the next best thing. And here to perform our convocation theme song are the band directors and students from both Weslaco and Weslaco East High School. Let's welcome to the stage with a round of applause. Take it away, Ron.
Let's go, everyone, up on your feet. If you wake up and don't want to smile, if it takes just a little while, open your eyes and look at the day. You'll see things in a different way. So don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. 'Cause yes, while. I know you don't believe that it's true. I never meant any harm to you. So don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop, it'll soon be here. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone, yesterday's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the members of the band on the stage. On lead guitar from Westlaco East High School, an alumnus, Mr. Alan Flores. Also from Westlaco East High School on rhythm guitar, Sharon Everett. On bass from Westlaco High School, Mr. Ron Lowe. On drums from Westlaco East High School, Mr. Rene Benado. On vocals from Roosevelt Elementary, Lynette Rodriguez. And introducing the Westlaco East High School Wildcat Regiment and the Westlaco High School Panther Corps. Now let's get our hands together. Here we go. Everyone. Here we go. Everyone sing. Don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll be better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone. So don't stop thinking about tomorrow. Don't stop. It'll soon be here. Better than before. Yesterday's gone. Yesterday's gone.
Thank you so much for letting me a part of this year's convocation. That concludes everything today. There are buses waiting outside. Have a great school year. Let's go, Westco Panthers!